His opponent across the ring in the red corner. He enters wearing red, trimmed in white and black. He registered an official weight of 142 pounds. And he enters the ring an undefeated fighter in 15 professional bouts. 11 of those victories coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
Okay, gentlemen. Trunks are okay on both sides. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
And pleased to welcome you to TopRank.com on the undercard of the pay-per-view event coming up later on, the WBA Lightweight Championship. Brandon Rios can't win it, but Richard Abril can. And then you've got the WBO interim 140-pound title as Sergey Fedorchenko takes on Juan Manuel Marquez, and that should be a dandy of a fight. All right, right here, Terence Crawford is the guy in the red trunks with the black and white trim, and Andres Georges is in the black and white. Georges is coming off a loss, a majority decision to Albert Mensah in Burbank, Illinois, and Crawford is coming off a win over Angel Rios in Atlantic City. You can see how aggressive he is, and Crawford is a big banger. He's 15-0 undefeated. He's got 11 knockouts, and I think you're going to be seeing a lot of him on Top Rank Boxing. Georges is 11-2 with 6 knockouts. He hails from Windsor in Canada. Talking about the guy in black now, he turned pro in June of 08, knocking out 6 of his first 7 opponents. But his last 3 fights have all been very close, split decisions or majority decisions. That's not going to happen against this guy. You're going to have to try and stop Georges and get real. Georges is going to have to get real aggressive. His last 6 fights have gone the distance, and he's 4-2 in those. His biggest win was in October of 10 when he won a unanimous decision over Leonardo Tyner for the NBA USA welterweight title in Auburn Hills, Michigan, outside of Detroit. But Terence Crawford, the scouting report on him is a good one. He likes to start fast. He's a pressure fighter. He's showing that. He's got a big right hand, a really good left hook. All 11 of his KOs have been inside of 3 rounds with 6 first-round knockouts. They call him Gorgeous Georges, and he's a good-looking kid, a real good-looking kid. Terence Crawford looks like a guy you'd be afraid to meet on a Saturday night someplace, but he's a great kid. Tough-looking kid. The Gorgeous one is already bruised to his left eye socket. Stiff jabs. Sneaky right hand that time by Crawford. Big punchers, Crawford. He goes downstairs. He's very quick on his body. He gives you some side-to-side movement. Georges does a lot of feigning, but not enough throwing of punches. He's got to get inside, use that jab. He waltzes in the kill zone without throwing the jab. And he's got a very wide stance, which makes it very difficult for him to get power in his jab. You know, if he were driving off that back foot and stepping up into his jab, he'd be a lot better off. And because he's so wide, even his right hand looks awkward. So in spite of the fact he's had 6 knockouts in 11 fights, I would have to say they're against much less skilled fighters than himself. His left eye is real puffy and a big circle around it from the hands of Terence Crawford. Brian McIntyre and Jackie Spikes. All right, here we go. This is round number 2. It's scheduled for 8. Most people don't think it's going to go that distance. And it certainly won't go that distance unless Georges can change the way he's fighting. In other words, close up his stance. And now they've told me they switched it to a 6-round fight, and I appreciate that. So this is scheduled for 6, originally for 8. Timing is dictated on the undercard. We'll do 6 rounds, and we'll see if Gorgeous Georges can hang in there for 6. There's a lot of feigning and posing. He's such a good-looking guy, he'd be a poster boy for boxing if he was a little bit better fighter. But the rugged-looking guy, Crawford, is the guy that can fight. Crawford fighting as a southpaw. Going with that right hand. He'll switch back and forth. Trouble when he fights southpaw, I don't think he's got quite as much power. He's able to be hit more. And he misses his punches, so I'd rather see him just stay as an orthodox fighter. He says to me he switches by design, but he's a natural right-hander and should stay that way. This is round number 2. It's scheduled for 6 rounds here in Las Vegas on the night of the big pay-per-view event. Remember, contact your pay-per-view provider if you want to see Brandon Rios and Richard Abril do battle. A lot of trash talking this week, and any time that Juan Manuel Marquez is in a fight, he's taking on Sergey Fedchenko, who's got a 31 record, and that should be a nice fight too. And that's all on pay-per-view coming up. My partners Brian Kenny, Rich Marotta, and Raul Eldemonte Marquez will present those fights for you. Hard stuff on the inside.
Come on, keep working. You gotta keep working, Terence. There you go.
Looping right hand by Georges. Georges just, he's got the long arms, but he has no power in his jab, and I mentioned why. And when we show you the wide shot, we'll show you exactly why. That this guy, can't get power with his jab because his legs are just way, way, way too wide. Now watch this. Watch this when they separate, and this will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Watch how wide his. We're back to a tight shot again, but I wanted to show you just how wide those legs are. There we are. Now, if we stay right there, well, closing seconds now. See how wide the legs are? And so he has to reach and jab, so there's no power because he doesn't drive off the back foot. See that? Off the front foot. Great job with that camera, guys, getting that. Shows you exactly what I'm talking about. That's another Crawford round. It's almost like a slap, so he can't have power with his right hand. Now, in credit to him, in his 11 victories, he's got 6 knockouts, but they had to be against much lesser opponents than the ability of Terence Crawford. Crawford not rushing for knockout. He's just doing a nice job here. And his 15 wins, he has 11 knockouts, and most of them have come early. But he's just nail him again with that right hand. And that left thigh of Georges is going to become a problem for him if this thing goes the distance. Back fighting right-handed, nice uppercut in that series of punches for Crawford. I really like what I'm seeing in Crawford. Looping right hand that time on top of that puffiness. How you see Georges comes in and throws and he hangs up. That's good. It's all right. He showed a bit of hand speed there. Let's see what he does. Now he still drags that foot behind. Kenny Norton used to do that, but Ken was so big that he got away with it. And it caused fits for Muhammad Ali many, many years ago. But other than Norton, I can't remember anybody that was successful dragging the hind foot behind him. Norton had such extraordinary upper body strength, he could get away with it. Looping right hand that time by Georges. Kenny Bayless doing his usual great job in there as the third man in the ring. Double jabs, not getting through. He wants to land that powerful right hand, does Crawford. Met Crawford this weekend. Very, very nice fella.
Work out.
Both guys working hard on the inside. Georges might even get a little bit of a advantage on the inside with that series of punches. So, yeah, this kid's a tough kid. Long and lanky. From Windsor, Canada, just over the bridge from Detroit City, Michigan. Crawford very wide-eyed, seems to know what he's doing. He could use a little bit more movement and get better angles coming in. I like the way he bobs down, but I think he a little more side-to-side movement. He'd be more successful with this tall kid, Georges. But Georges is 6 feet, so Crawford is 4 inches taller. It's very hard to fight a guy that has a reach advantage and also a height advantage, but he's done well. Hard shots on the inside. Boy, this has turned out to be a tough fight and a good fight right now. Crawford getting the better of Georges. with 20 seconds to go in this, the third round. Stiff jab, stiff jab. You know why that jab was getting through? Because look at the style he's fighting at the end. He was fighting as a southpaw. And that's why George's punches got through in that round, but it still wasn't enough. Crawford won the round. Lisa Giampa, Robert Hoyle, and Dave Moretti are the judges. 3 fine judges here in Las Vegas. In the corner now of the gorgeous one, Andre Georges. Watch these guys on the inside now. They're tied up. Let's see what goes on here. Oh, he caught him with a decent left hook. Actually, Georges got the best of him on the inside, I thought. That was a decent little bit for him, but that's about all he did in that round. Crawford doesn't really want to fight this great big guy with long arms on the inside. He wants to come in and get out and get his angles. He's been in and out and doing fine and throwing in the kill zone, but he's not getting great angles. And he fights a whole lot better when he fights right-handed than when he fights as a southpaw. He should stick to that. He's getting a little frustrated, and nice counterpunching now by Georges. Georges has hung in there. He's an awkward sort of guy, big, tall fella from Windsor, Canada. Looks like he should be playing hockey. He's got that nice hockey build. Actually, he's got a great build for a boxer, but fundamentally, he makes a lot of mistakes. Skipping now to his right. Crawford just walks him down and comes with his combination downstairs. Looks like that left eye might be cut. There might be a little slit over George's left eye now. Georges likes to throw that windmill shot. And he hasn't caught Crawford real hard with it because of the manner in which he throws it. When you throw that big windmill shot, it looks tremendous, but it doesn't have great power. There's one that spun the head with the right hand. Crawford admired that and wanted to do it again. Instead, he comes down with a liver shot. That left eye of Gorgeous Georges could be a problem before this is over. He's fortunate that it was cut to 6 rounds from the originally scheduled 8. Terence Crawford in the red trunks has outboxed this guy throughout. Decent work by Georges downstairs there, but he's not doing enough to win the round with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. He's frustrating Crawford a little bit more in this round. Crawford comes off his feet to try and land a big hook. Crawford would just think right-handed and just do what he does with a little more side-to-side movement. He'd be better off. He's coming right in. He's coming right in. And this his corner tells him the same thing. Go ahead and move. Move to your right. The reason why is they want him in position to land a power shot on top of that eye. Problem is that Gorgeous has a couple of 3 inches in reach in that height advantage. He staggered him, and there he goes down to one knee. Caught him with the shot, and it was kind of a delayed up to 5 and 6. I think he'll be able to get up 7 and 8, and he does get up. He was caught by a shot that was a delayed reaction in the head, and down he went. He was smart to take that knee because he wasn't winning the round anyway. So now, let's see. With only 10 seconds to go, that left hook to the temple did a big job on him. And it causes the brain to crash into the right side of the head, and he just has to hang on. So that's a knockdown and a really good left hook to the temple, and we'll be able to show that to you.
Deep breath.
I've got it scored 40-35 going to the 5th round. We'll show you a couple of different looks of this now. Boom. Right hand, left hand to the temple. So he had the head going both ways. Boom. There's a strong punch there, left hand to the temple. Yeah, that was the one that took him down to the knee. Now watch the overhead shot of this. Watch the left hand. Boom. Right on the temple. And And that gets the brain bouncing around inside the skull, and if it's not powerful enough, it causes just what happened there, a delayed knockdown, but severe enough. And we'll see if he can recover, because while his mind might be all right, his legs might not be all right coming to the 5th round. So a good job by Crawford dropping him with that shot to the temple, and he'll try to do that again in this round, I'm sure, to get that head spinning around. If he can stop him in the 5th. Oh, hard right hand that time upstairs. So right now Crawford is headhunting, and Georges is on the move. Caught him with a solid right hand again. He's not going to be able to take too many more of these single hard shots to the head. And Kenny Bayless will keep a look on him. And Georges really trying to hang on. His legs are not good right now. Georges is in trouble. Couple more shots to the head and it'll be all over. Kenny Bayless taking a good look into his eyes, because he is hurt. He's trying to get his legs back going. He's not interested in engaging right now. Now he waits. Gets nailed again. He drops him on his nose. And Kenny Bayless doesn't bother to count. He's knocked out. Again, a big shot by Crawford. You could see it coming because the legs weren't there for Andre Georges. And right before it happened, Kenny Bayless was looking into his eyes. As soon as he saw him crack, he stopped the fight immediately in his eyes. And this is the finishing series. Oh, man, that snapped the head. That's what they call a stem cell, when the head spins on the brain stem cell, and it crashes the, oh, man, it crashes the brain heavily into the side of the skull, exploding into a knockout. And this guy is out. And Kenny didn't even bother to count. Look at this. Boom. Oh. Vicious shot. Kenny wanted to stop it and was looking for a reason, but he couldn't stop it before that, because this is professional boxing. There he is, Terence Crawford, with a big knockout victory. Okay, Lupe Contreras is standing by, so let's get the official timing.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big overhand right brings this bout to an end with an official time of 44 seconds of round number 5. Your winner, by way of knockout, still undefeated, Terence Crawford.
So Terence Crawford is a guy you're going to see a lot more of here on Top Rank Boxing. He's a very, very good fighter, and we look forward to seeing him again. We hope Andres Georges is okay. He suffered
Can the fight live up to the crowd and its high expectations?
Well, there's one thing for sure, Larry. There's 19,000 that this place seats, and I don't see many empty seats. They've turned out to support their hometown, Terence Bud Crawford. And the chants go up for Crawford. There's a great electricity in the crowd here. It's wonderful. The atmosphere is terrific. Gino Rodriguez from Chicago, Illinois, very experienced referee. Third man in the ring, scheduled for 12, WBO Lightweight Championship. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan, along with Larry Merchant, and Christina Poncher is with us. And hope wherever you're watching around the world, you're going to enjoy this one. Here we go, round 1, 135-pound championship of the world.
First jab by Crawford.
We get the word that the attendance is 10,943, so they turned out en masse in this arena to see him.
That's about 1,000 more than saw Joe Frazier.
Fight Ron Standard.
Right, Ron Standard.
For the heavyweight championship of the world some 42 years ago. Crawford, of course, in the black trunks. Cuban fighter Yuriorkis Gamboa, living in Miami, wearing the colors of the Cuban flag. Crawford's jab has caught Gamboa off balance as Gamboa was getting ready to load up a shot.
Gamboa is showing already that he knows he's going to have to take some chances. That he's just not going to be able to outbox Crawford from outside.
Outside, this is the kitchen for Terence Crawford. He could stay out here all night and outbox him with that height and reach advantage.
And he's plenty content doing so. He spoke about that during the week. If I need to make sure I use my reach, my jab, and take advantage of my size, and I'm perfectly comfortable fighting around the outside.
But Gamboa's quick-handedness is evident from here. You know, sometimes when a fighter like Crawford is usually the fastest guy in the ring, the quickest guy, and he comes up against somebody as quick as him, maybe quicker, it changes the equation.
Two minutes gone in round one. Not much has landed. Not much difference between the two fighters so far. If I had to guess, I'd say that Crawford has landed more blows than has Gamboa. And as Larry said, and I expect soon he's going to have to take some risks, because you're not going to be able to box this guy like this from this position all night. And Christina, who spent some time with Terence this week, in spite of the crowd and the reaction that Crawford has, he's perfectly comfortable in doing exactly what he's doing.
Good hard jab by Crawford.
Almost buckled the legs of Gamboa.
I think Gamboa got a little surprised by the pop in that hand.
Crawford so calm all week long, such a calm demeanor, and I don't think this crowd will get to him in that sense. I think he'll be very under control all night long, doing exactly what he needs to do.
Good right hand on the inside by Crawford.
That's Yuriorkis Gamboa, ranked 6th in the WBO. It's Terence Crawford to the right of your screen. He's the champion of the WBO. Third man in the ring, Gino Rodriguez. And here we go with round number 2. See if anything changes. There's the jab immediately in the face of Gamboa. Gamboa to the left of your screen. That's Terence to the right. Red trim on the trunks of Yuriorkis Gamboa from Cuba.
A lot of the questions early was how if Gamboa was going to have any ring rust. You know, it's been a year since he's been in the ring and only twice in the last 2 years. So not too much of that showing early, Colonel. I think he's looking okay out there, but that was a big question that a lot of fight fans had coming into this match, was if it was going to show little rust.
Well, it's early to note, you know, but veteran fighter spends a lot of time in the gym. Maybe not so much.
But at this distance, Crawford can outbox him all night like this. Gamboa is trying to take some shots to come in the inside.
Yeah, he's trying to use some smart aggression. Go in and out, use his quickness.
It's a light left hook upstairs that time. Does Gamboa. Gamboa as a featherweight, nothing short of sensational. Now going from 126 to 135, big difference, especially with the height difference that Crawford has. But Gamboa has been fighting taller guys almost his whole career, so he should know how to handle it. But Crawford is not just an average lightweight. He's a lightweight champion with a lot of skills.
And a big lightweight. His team speaking somewhat candidly, but it was a little tough for him making 135 this time around, Colonel.
Yeah, talked that Bob Arum talked about him wanting to go, or at least the promoter wanting him to go to 140. But all of that's academic right now. And a little rough on the inside there. And Gino says no. Gamboa gives him the bow. A shot landed by Gamboa. CenturyLink Center, Omaha, Nebraska. Lightweight championship of the world, WBO version on the line. Both of these guys 23-0. Both have 16 knockouts. Gamboa looks like he's going to put the pedal to the pedal in this round.
I think he came out of the last round feeling good about himself, that maybe he found the formula to deal with the upright Crawford and all of his advantages.
Gamboa seems very strong. Pushing badly, doesn't give any ground. Terence loads up the right. You saw what happened, whistling past the ear.
There's an example, Colonel, what I was talking about earlier, that when a fighter suddenly needs somebody who might be a little quicker than him, or as quick, you know, suddenly the picture changes. Good right hand on the inside, but didn't hurt Gamboa.
Gamboa landed some flush shots in there too.
Crawford elects to go for a southpaw for a couple of seconds, and he gets whacked.
Yep. Gamboa is beating him to the punch.
Literally.
Gamboa lands a light right and then a decent left hand. And this left-handed style, to me, is not working for Terence right now.
Gamboa has seen a lot of left-handed punches in his day.
Cheekbones a little bit puffy on the face of Gamboa so far. Decent left hand landed by Gamboa. I think Terence is better defensively when he fights right-handed.
Gamboa having a really good round. Landed another solid punch there.
Closing seconds of the third round. They exchange shots, but I think Gamboa got the better of it. Illinois and Levi Martinez of New Mexico are the official judges. All experienced men. This is round 4. CenturyLink Center, the hometown of the champion, Terence Crawford. Now let's see if Crawford can make an adjustment from the last 2 rounds that may or may not have gone in favor of Gamboa. They have on our score sheets, but we're unofficial. Chops him with the right hand, fighting from the southpaw stance.
You know, a question that has to be asked in this fight is, can a fighter who comes from a place where fighters are not usually don't usually come from beat a fighter who comes from a place where a lot of good fighters come from, irrespective of their individual standings in the place? That, you know, Gamboa has been around the block in a culture that has boxing deeply embedded in it in Cuba.
I'll tell you, even though Crawford trains sometimes as a southpaw, oftentimes as a southpaw, his punches aren't as powerful when he fights in this manner, and he's getting hit more as that right hand by Gamboa. Terence doesn't look as good boxing as a southpaw as he does as a right-handed fighter. He thinks that he has a lot more power in his left hand when he fights as a southpaw, and that's why he does it. And he gets nailed more.
Yeah, he's susceptible to that right hand of Gamboa every time he switches, Colonel.
Well, he's not switching. He's just fighting left-handed now.
Oh, this is a left hand get through, but did it shake Gamboa? And Boa's on the assault, putting pressure still on the champion.
And he took Crawford's punch really well in there. Crawford landed a solid shot.
And that was a question, too, coming into the fight, Larry, was Gamboa's chin. It's been a question.
Well, he's been down 6 times in his career, but he's always come off the canvas. 2 undefeated fighters.
Identical records, identical knockout percentage.
The bell ends round 4. All right, so it's time for Crawford to make an adjustment. The first one I make is go back fighting as a right-handed fighter, but he's going to fight as a southpaw again. If he thinks that fighting as a southpaw is confusing Gamboa, it's not confusing him in the slightest.
I don't think he's trying to confuse Gamboa. I think that when he was fighting him in his conventional style, he just saw that Gamboa had an advantage over him, it solved him, and that he just feels he has to fight him southpaw.
Yet he won the first round, Larry. He's lost the last 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, well.
So, but that's, you may be right. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he's lost, and he may not have, but I mean, that's the way I see it anyway.
Well, I have it 2-1 and 1 even. I know officials don't score even rounds, but I do. Little welt alongside the right eye of Gamboa.
He's had that puffy cheek for a couple of rounds now.
Good little right hand hook by Crawford.
Crawford walks him back on his heels. Gamboa doesn't like it. Remember, Terence said when he fights as a southpaw, he feels like he has more power with his left, but he's not landing many lefts.
I think Terence needs to go back to using the jab a little bit more. Keeping that distance.
Now he's trying to figure this guy out. He's not touching him when he's jabbing as a southpaw. As this kid Gamboa is very quick on his feet and with his hands.
Oh, he hurt him with the right hand.
Yeah, he staggered and dropped him with the left hand. He hurt him with the right, then the left hand dropped him. Now how about that?
And the roof is about to blow in this place, Colonel.
Gamboa got a little too reckless.
Well, you said he was going to have to at some stage. And he's real reckless now, but his legs aren't there. Terence touches him up with a pretty good jab, whacks him with the left hand, downstairs, loads up with the right hand.
Gamboa is fighting back valiantly, but is he hurt, as you say?
He is hurt, trying to hang on. Terence imposing his will on Gamboa right now. Gamboa is staggering. Slides to his right, nail with another right hand. He's ready to go again, but we're out of time in the 5th round. Nails him again. He's back on his heels. Listen to the crowd.
No smile on Gamboa's lips at the end of this round.
Is Gamboa now. And he's nailed with that left hand and dropped. You're right, Larry. He was getting brave. And he was out of position. And the rest of this round, he's fighting on instinct.
More importantly, he took some heavy shots at the end of that round, so let's see how he can approach this and where his body and his legs are under him.
I don't believe a guy can recover from the kind of damage he was experiencing at the end of the 5th round. We'll see.
Well, at the very least, with that knockdown, that evens out the fight, I think, on our cards, right, Colonel, at 47 all.
Yeah, at the very least. But that's the least important thing right now. The thing is, can he continue the pace? He's fighting as a right-handed fighter now, and he continues to hurt Gamboa. Gamboa's legs aren't there at all.
But he's making a stand, to his credit.
And I still expect Terence to be cautious in a way and be patient. I don't expect him to get out of his style.
Is Terence back as a southpaw again?
Well, you and I have discussed this southpaw stuff ad nauseum, but he made it work for him.
Yes, he did. And here's Gamboa, who was down for the 7th time in his career in the 5th round. His legs aren't 100% just yet. But Gamboa is throwing caution to the wind. He's trying to nail this guy.
Yeah, he's showing us what he's made of.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
Whether he can weather this kid or not, he is showing us that he's got some.
He got cracked by a good.
You don't get to be as good as him over such a long period of time with not having a lot of fortitude.
Well, he's got that for sure. His legs still aren't there, and we're almost 2 minutes into this 6th round.
Very flat-footed. I was just going to say that, Colonel. Still looking a little shaky as he kind of walks forward with heavy feet.
He's not just looking shaky. He is shaky, Christina. And I don't think Terence realizes that he's still in trouble. Now he gets up on his toes a little bit and bounces around. Almost his left knee buckled underneath him. Talking about Gamboa.
Cool.
Gamboa gets down with another straight left hand that time. Only 5 seconds to go in the round. Crawford boxing nicely as a southpaw now. Closing seconds now. This is the 6th round. The bell ends the 6th. Another round for Terence Crawford. Can Terence Crawford continue what he started in the 5th round as we move to the 2nd half of the fight with Crawford out in front in the fight now. The legs appear to be back of Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Crawford pointing out to the ref that it's slippery. There are a few pieces of ice still on the mat there, but ref says fight on.
Crawford continues to fight as a southpaw. When he got Gamboa in trouble at Strange, he went back to fighting as an orthodox fighter, and he's been fighting southpaw ever since. As Gamboa just slipped on a piece of that ice.
Well, also sometimes you see that the advertisements on the mat can be slippery.
Well, the thing is, for some reason, the Cuban corner people love to pour water down a guy's shorts. So he's dripping water all over the place. And, of course, once that there's actually a puddle on the Ducati sign in the center of the ring, and that's where they're slipping.
Gamboa's shorts drenched. Right now, they're thoroughly dripping all over the middle
It looks
of
like
the
a bathing suit.
It's seriously.
Well, which suggests that they've been doing everything possible
to revive him.
To revive him, correct.
As they should.
Crawford trying to pot shot him and catch him. Right hand has been effective. Gamboa continues to step on each other's front feet. Gamboa's doing a lot of slipping, and it's his own corner's own fault because, I mean, we describe his trunks are a bathing suit right now. They're dripping that much, folks. And he's distracted by it because he keeps looking down. Gamboa's legs are totally back, so whatever they've done in the corner, he's revived. And as I say that, he gets whacked.
Well, as you pointed out, Colonel, he's been looking down, and when he looked down, Crawford popped him.
Distracted by the wet shorts and his footing on the canvas. Because he moves a lot. He bounces around. He slides left to right. He fights up on his toes all the time.
Compared to the early rounds, Gamboa looks like he's going through motions now. Not as serious years.
Still throwing punches. All right, here we go to round number 8. The Colonel Bob Sheridan and Larry Merchant, Christina Poncher. Watching Top Rank Boxing. We're at the CenturyLink Center in Omaha, Nebraska. The home of the guy in the black trunks, Terence Crawford.
You know, Crawford is ambidextrous. I mean, his turning southpaw is not a tactic for a moment to try to confuse his opponent.
No, he trains to do that. And that's different from what I talk about all the time. And he's successful at it. I mean, he got Gamboa in trouble when he was fighting as a southpaw. It just struck me funny that he turned back right-handed when he was in the process of pummeling him. But that's okay. If a guy trains that way, that's why. And as you said, the guy is ambidextrous. That's different from a guy using it for any other reason. Round 8 action continues. Slowed down just a bit in terms of the amount of punches being landed by either fighter.
Gamboa has stopped being aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think he's thrown a punch this round, Larry.
You know, it's one punch at a time, hoping something happened and making something happen. But you can't count him out. Crawford's never been in with somebody like this, and until he does it, he hasn't done it.
Yeah, and by the way, with all that said, there's only 2 points in my score sheet separating the two fighters. And the whole difference in the fight is the knockdown. Back in the 5th round. So while the crowd in attendance is going virtually nuts, I don't know how far ahead Crawford really is on the score sheets. He's ahead.
Well, I don't know if there's a if there's necessarily going to be a hometown advantage, but there shouldn't be a hometown disadvantage. And he'll get credit for everything he does at the very least.
Well, here's Gamboa in the process of landing some shots. Now, he dropped him, hit him with the right hand, then the left hand, and the knee went down.
As soon as Gamboa got offensive, Crawford dropped him again.
But you said that he'd take risk, and he had to take risk, and it hurt him. So Gamboa has been down twice in the fight now, but that changes the whole complexion of the fight right now. Because Gamboa is still on his feet. There's not a lot of time left in this 8th round. There he is again, and he got hurt again as Gamboa was throwing his shoe-shine punches. Take a look at this knockdown. Now you see who's on the assault, not really landing many blows, and then bang! Right across the jaw, left hand, and a solid right hand. And it dropped him down to the canvas. Gino just got himself in position to make that call because he was kind of behind. Gino Rodriguez being the official that was able to call that immediately when that foot hit the canvas. And now, Yuriorkis Gamboa is getting pummeled at the end of the 8th round. He was able to recover after he went down in the 5th, but here we go to the 9th.
Well, Gamboa has to know now that he's got to make something happen.
Well, he's got to throw all caution to the wind If he gets stopped, he gets stopped, but he can't win without, as you say, taking a lot of risks now. Being knocked down twice, he knows he's behind, no matter what happened in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. Actually, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Right hand landed, and now Crawford's going back to conventional. He lands an uppercut.
Solid uppercut. Crawford looks a little off balance right now. Did he get hit by something in there?
No, he just switched. There he did switch it in mid-course because that right hook from the left-handed position has been a very imposing weapon for him.
I don't know, Colonel. Terrence's legs look a little wobbly right now. They do look a little
I agree with you, Christine.
Yeah.
I think he get hit by something.
I would have to agree.
And he might have been caught in the switch, and that can happen no matter how skilled you are at changing.
Well, I'm not sure what happened either, but when he went back to the corner after the last round, he looked a little tired to me. The intensity of this fight on a young fighter who hasn't experienced it before and whose emotions must be running very high can take a lot out of you. We'll see if he has the composure, the skill, the will.
His legs, Larry, don't look to me like they look, and he makes a big mistake by turning his back. He's lucky he wasn't clubbed behind the head, because Gamboa is a fighter. He's been down twice in the fight, and it's my belief that he hurt Terence Crawford at some stage in this 9th round. Crawford cracked him again and straightened out the right leg of Gamboa. He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time with the left hook. So if Gamboa is tough and Crawford would hurt, how about that? 27, 26 seconds. He still has time to finish him off. 22 seconds, he's back at him. Gamboa is totally out on his feet. Can Crawford catch him one more time? There's no quitting Gamboa. He keeps battling, falling forward. Uppercut, drops him again. It's all over. Terence Crawford has stopped Yuriorkis Gamboa to defend his title in his hometown.
Terence Crawford has become an American star.
This is Terence Crawford's coming out party.
To be a real champion.
Remember, there were stages in that round where I thought that he might have been hurt, and he drops him with a vicious left hook.
Never before defeated, obviously never knocked out. One of the most celebrated amateurs of his time. At 32, Gamboa gets stopped. And at 26, Terence Crawford has given his hometown something to cheer about.
They couldn't have asked for a better performance and a more spectacular way to end this fight than the way that Terence Crawford did tonight, Colonel.
4 knockdowns and eventually a TKO victory for him. And again, I thought that there was a stage in that 9th round where he might have been hurt. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I had the feeling. But if it was, it just says more to the tremendous bottle that this guy has, as they say in England. I mean, he performed really admirably.
Well, and was there pressure on him, or was there an opportunity? He made this an opportunity and put himself on the boxing map big time. His promoters and handlers are dancing now in the ring.
That you can be sure of. And which way does he go now? Who does he fight next?
Well,
and putting on a... Well, let's make it official by going to Michael Buffer.
2 minutes, 53 seconds of round number 9. The winner by knockout victory. The fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, still WBO lightweight champion of the world, Terence Crawford.
So tell me, you think these folks will come back the next time?
So the referee is Rafael Ramos. He'll call the fighters to the ring and try and get everybody out of here. Rafael Ramos is a terrific referee, by the way. 10-point must scoring system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. If anything cannot be saved with the bell in any round, only the referee can stop the fight, and if in case of an accidental foul, we'll go to the scorecards after the 4th round. This fight is sanctioned by the WBO. Paco Vacasel is the president, and he is in attendance. Dulorme is coming off a split decision win over Henry Lunde for the NABF 140-pound NABO title. Terence Crawford in the red and black, former lightweight champ, moving up now to 140. That's from 135 to 140. Starting out fighting orthodox as a right-handed fighter. Dulorme is trained for some 6 weeks for this, 8 weeks actually, and is in magnificent physical condition. And you'll see a lot of that from Dulorme, wide overhand rights.
I've always liked Dulorme's style. I think he's a tall, rangy fighter who fights tall. And he's got a very good, strong, hard punch. And he is going to be at his natural weight, of course. And we're all waiting to see how Crawford will take this jump up. And will they carry his power into the higher division?
Well, Crawford can box. He can punch, too. His knockouts are more of accumulation sort. 25 victories. He's got 17 knockouts. Dulorme has 14 KOs and 22.
Dulorme's really come out with intent here in round 1.
Yes, he has, Richard, and he has to. But Bud is going to be a little bit quicker than he is, especially with those overhand or right overhand shots that Dulorme will throw. But Dulorme has a decent jab, and he can hold Bud off a little bit. Bud is what Terence Crawford goes by.
Yeah, that's actually a childhood nickname. His mom started calling him that when he was about 1 year old, and it stuck. Everybody just calls him Bud. One thing I do like about Crawford is he is really relaxed in that ring. It's a great advantage for a fighter if you can be as relaxed in the ring as he normally is.
You can see the intensity of Dulorme trying to take this first round. And of course, the idea of Joe Rosa, who works with him, is to make Terence feel his power early, so he gets some respect from him. Terence thing is speed. Dulorme is his power to try to take advantage of his size.
Terence looks to me as though he's kind of studying Dulorme, figuring him out as he goes along here in round number 1.
45 seconds to go in the round. Not a lot between the two of them here.
You see these little feints that Crawford is offering him. He's probably trying to see, Colonel, how Dulorme reacts to them. He's not really throwing them with intent to land anything now. He's just feinting and kind of studying Dulorme and studying his moves.
But his feints have made Dulorme miss a lot. Dulorme has roundhouse about 5 or 6 times in this round, and he hasn't landed one yet. And that's the quickness of Terence Crawford. Closing seconds of the first round. Not much between the two of them in this round. A lot of posturing, a lot of missing. What do you think, Christina?
That's a tough one. I mean, they were both trying to figure themselves out, but I feel like Dulorme maybe put more of the pressure. He was a little more aggressive, where I think Terence was being conservative, kind of figuring it out. So if I had to go based on just aggression, I would give this round to Dulorme.
Yeah, me too. I thought Dulorme had the edge in that round. Just basically he came out doing a little bit more, while I thought Terence used it as a feeling out round. Of course, we should remember too, in the fight with Gamboa, that Gamboa had the edge in some of those early rounds. And Crawford, as he picks up strength as he goes along in a fight.
He picks up strength. He's just as strong at the end of the fight as he is at the beginning of the fight. And that'll be a question of Dulorme, who's the bigger guy, if he can be as strong towards the middle and the end rounds as he was in round number 1. I agree with the two of you in that first round. Very close, not a lot between them, but just on aggressiveness and probably landing a few heavier blows. I'll go with Dulorme in the first round as well. Here we go, round number 2.
Yeah, it really is just amazing that Terence Crawford would end up Fighter of the Year last year, and it was well-deserved. I don't think you heard any arguments about that. And a year and a half, nobody knew who he was. A year and a half ago. Amazing.
Well, in the United States, he's fighting on the opening fight and the HBO, and that's something that he's wanted to do, and he's done that a couple of times now, and that's worked out well for him. And he's promoted, of course, by Top Rank, and you know, because you've been around Top Rank as long as I have, Rich, nobody develops fighters better than Top Rank. Bruce Trampler and Carl Moretti, that whole crowd, they do a great job. Matchmakers and Brad Goodman, all those guys are unbelievable.
It's all about when you get your fighter to the top that they're ready to stay at the top, and by then they have tasted all different styles, all different ages, all different patterns of fighting. When they meet a guy, that they're ready when they're at the championship level.
Terence Crawford, all business on his face. Very, very fast hands. And all determination by Tomas Dulorme. Crawford has the exact positioning, so he's making him miss a lot of those shots, and in his mind hoping that the bigger guy gets fatigued.
And I'm not surprised by the aggressiveness early of Dulorme, because that was kind of their game plan coming into the fight, is just to come out and be aggressive and set the tone right from the start. The first 4 or 5 rounds, they don't want to let those go to bud, just kind of feeling things out. They wanted to make sure to push the pressure, but Terence is so smart, and as you mentioned, Colonel, just let him kind of get these rounds out, because later on Terence won't fade. Terence will even come on stronger towards the end of the fight, so I don't think that he's too worried right now.
Dulorme has a very stiff jab. He's been using that since the opening bell. His start came out. As soon as that bell rang, he threw 3 or 4 really hard left jabs in the first 30 seconds, and he's still utilizing it.
And you talked about him feigning, and then you just saw 3 feints in a row with Crawford just trying to see if he can get him to move a certain way consistently so he can nail him with a right-hand shot.
Dulorme, by the way, is interesting. He says he feels like he's representing all the Latino fans all around the world. He said, and not just the Dominican Republic fans, or not just where he spent a lot of time in Puerto Rico. He said, but all of them.
Including Mexico. I did the fight last week in Mexico, and it was 4 Mexican fighters against 4 Puerto Rican fighters, and all the Puerto Rican fighters won. So I said, are you representing the Mexican fighters that fought last week? No. But we get an idea what he means. He's very proud Latino, and as you can tell by the flag of Puerto Rico that he has for trunks.
Philosophy of that, he feels that 8 eyes watching him is better than just 2 eyes watching.
And they all have their roles, right, Colonel? I mean, he was very specific as to they each have their own part of that, what they do, but there is one voice that they'll listen to in the corner.
All right, so here we go, round number 3. Dulorme with a Puerto Rican flag, and the fancy trunks we'll call him, and Terence Crawford, red and black. Crawford, of course, with the black shoes, and Dulorme with the white gloves. This is the first real good hard shot that Crawford has landed.
Yeah, and for the first time he really looks intent on maybe doing something offensively in this round.
Well, it's time for him to do that. He hasn't switched to southpaw, which against Beltran in the last fight, he had already gone southpaw by the 3rd round. Whoa! Just open up there. But Dulorme misses a lot of shots, and that's because Crawford really knows his positioning. Catches those with the gloves, lets his left hand go. Crawford, you can tell just the way he's moving that he's more intense on landing some shots in this 3rd round. And he has landed a couple. 1 heavy one, 1 light one. Dulorme very, very well prepared for this fight.
Good friends with Felix Tito Trinidad, as they talk often.
He loves Tito Trinidad, who will be inducted into the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame this year, and is bringing hordes with him, Rick.
Half of Puerto Rico's coming to Las Vegas in August.
Crawford still not getting hit hard by this guy. He's slipping punches very well. But he's not landing a lot. Sorry, Rich?
He's a little more wary of him, though, if you take a look at his stance now. And how he's, I think he's expecting Bud, because Bud is giving him a little bit more this round, to come with something.
Oh, that's a nice jab. He pops that jab out there so effectively, doesn't he?
Certainly does. There's that looping shot again that Dulorme is known for with the right hand. It didn't land on Crawford, but it got the attention of the crowd. There's that jab again that Christina alluded to. Real stiff jab. He throws it technically perfect. Nice body shot by Crawford.
That got a rise out of the crowd. They saw it.
Dulorme misses with his left. Crawford misses with his right. This is the best Crawford round of the fight.
He's getting some respect from Dulorme now.
Well, we both said, we all said that, he needs to do this in the third round. He couldn't really give away another round.
Well, he certainly didn't here. A definite winning round for Terence Crawford.
All right, the bell ends the third. We've got a dandy for you, folks. Terence Bud Crawford moving up to 140 for the vacant WBO Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. Thomas Dulorme, a natural junior welterweight at 140, the bigger man. And it's a very even fight as we go to 4. Scheduled for the championship rounds of 12. We're in Arlington, Texas, on the campus of the University of Texas, Arlington, at the College Park Center. Dulorme with his back to you, to the left of your screen, with the white shoes. With the black shoes is Terence Crawford.
Dulorme, when he was 15 years old, living in the Dominican, he wanted to get better opposition. He wanted to learn more about the sport. He moved to Puerto Rico, and that's where he really became an excellent boxer.
Well, we could go on for about 10 minutes on the great boxers that came out of Puerto Rico. Tito Trinidad is only one of them. Fredo Gomez, Fredo Escalera, Wilfred Benitez,
Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto. And on you can go. Felix Verdejo.
He's the one. He's the one on the come right now, I'll tell you. Dulorme said, for this fight, everything I've learned, I'm bringing everything to this fight. So you kind of get the feeling that his whole life, his whole career has been pointing toward this night. That's how he looks at it.
Which is why I was so surprised when I heard that he wasn't training with Robert Garcia anymore for this moment, because I thought that having Robert in his corner would have given him the best chance to win. But he wanted to be home in Puerto Rico and was very adamant about that in our meeting, that he wanted all the attention and all the focus, because he knew that this was the biggest fight of his career, and Robert obviously has other big fighters that he trains.
Yeah, Roy Jones in the fighter meetings yesterday talked about, all of the strength and conditioning coaches. And of course, Crawford has one. Desmond is his name, and Des does a great job with him. But that's getting the body in shape. But Roy says you need time separate from the strength and conditioning in the gym and in the ring.
Right.
Training for the boxing part of it.
I agree with Roy. I thought he was making some great points on that.
Roy Bernard Hopkins, two very intelligent guys. I can listen to them all the time because they really know what they're talking about when it comes to analyzing just everything in boxing.
Terence starting to enjoy himself in there with that jab. That jab is becoming a nice little weapon for Terence Crawford right now. Look how quick it is. He's having a good time in there, Colonel.
Backing him off. And he lets go with that right hand. He wants to land that pretty bad. And he hasn't switched to southpaw at all. Two solid right hands that put the exclamation point in Terence Crawford's 10-9 round.
And he winks at him. This is getting good.
WBO Junior Welterweight Championship of the World on the line. Crawford to the right of your screen on the red trunks. That's Dulorme in the flag of the country of Puerto Rico. You know, when you talk about, you know, Crawford being a ring tactician and how smart he is in the ring, this is what he's showing right now with Dulorme. He's showing a lot of patience right now because he was juiced at the end of that last round, but he's totally under control. Dulorme has got to be frustrated in that he's throwing a lot of punches and his jab is falling short. He's missed with that wild right hand. He had the decent first couple of rounds and then things kind of turned around a little bit. That left hand was a little bit low and Crawford's hands are so fast he got that right hand right on top of it.
And I think Terence was playing with him mentally a little bit at the end of that last round too.
Absolutely.
You know, Terence is such a good athlete. He loves his own basketball ability. He and Roy Jones were getting into it yesterday about who's the better basketball player. So we probably haven't heard the end of that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything in the meeting, but I played basketball one time with Muhammad Ali and Jimmy Ellis, and the two of them could shoot buckets, especially Jimmy. Jimmy probably could have been a professional basketball player. But it just goes to great athletes.
Dulorme kind of slid that right off of Crawford.
You just get the feeling when you talk to Bud that no matter what sport he would have chose to play, he would have been successful at it, but we're sure glad that he chose boxing.
Well, he's a great representative of the sport. And I think that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a great representative of the sport. I don't think he really likes some of his attitude and the anger that he had, anger problems that he had as a youngster.
Well, he's certainly lost all of that. In fact, he said, you know, people wanted him to say more things like a Floyd Mayweather. That's Floyd's style. It's not his style.
Yeah, so
and Floyd, when we deal with him, is nowhere near as bad as he appears when he makes some public statements. But that's not Crawford's style at all. Bob Arum thinks that Terence Crawford is certainly a big future star for Top Rank and the world. Crawford, you know, got squared up there and started going with the right hand leads. And the next thing we'll see him go southpaw. That's a closer round, but I think Crawford still won it.
Terence Crawford in that round. I think he's got to start touching him even on the chest with his jab.
And maybe, Rich, you know, the 4 inches that Terence has is something to be said for it. That was a slip by Crawford. This time of night, the canvas, especially in the area where the paint is, the Tecate sign can get slippery. And it comes from the water that's in the corners of the fighters. It's on the bottom of their shoes. Oh, nice. That puts him back on his heels. Is Dulorme hurt? He goes down. He goes down on one knee. He hit him with a shot, put him back up against the ropes, and he was hurt. Then he caught him with the right hand and then the left hand to put him down. So Dulorme is first to go down.
I'm looking at Dulorme's eyes. They are clear, but his legs were wobbly from the left-right combination. It was a beauty.
Well, that answers another solid right hand. A lot of time to go in this round. Uppercuts. Can he stop him right now? He better start answering some punches, but the referee won't have any choice. That's the second time down.
His legs are really rubbery.
This referee, Ramos, may not let this go on if he's too glassy-eyed. He says step forward. Here we go. There is no 3 knockdown rule, but if he clobbers him hard, he'll stop the fight anyway. Crawford in total command. Bang the body on the chin again. The right hand is there. Can he land it? Wow, with the left hand. Right hand. Left hook downstairs. Crawford shining now. He's not back totally, and Crawford pouring it on. Last little shot. He better answer, the ref is going to stop the fight. He's giving him the excuse, and down he goes for the 3rd time. That's it. The fight's all over. He's out on his feet. Crawford has knocked out Thomas Dulorme. Well, that answers the questions. Can he step up with power?
Terence Bud Crawford is just getting better and better and better. And that is not good news for those who wondered about his punching power at 140 pounds. Colonel, he punched harder at 140 pounds.
Well, nobody has really damaged Dulorme like that. Dulorme was stopped one other time in his career against Abregu. That was in the 7th round. This was in the 6th round. And that's a brilliant, brilliant performance for this man.
Well, it was a beautiful 1-2 combination. There it is, the left and the right, the jab. And watch Terence now. He knows he's got him. He senses the predicament that Dulorme is in. He saw him bounce back, and Dulorme was wobbly right there. And Terence Crawford went in with that left hook, scored the first knockdown of the fight. But it was really that original left-right combination. And you see how wobbly Dulorme was when he went back. That left was just window dressing. That first left-right combination is the one that did it. Now Dulorme there, his eyes were clear, but his legs were a big problem. And he never was really able to get them back. That's still the first knockdown of the fight. You look at Dulorme, he knows exactly what's going on, but he just never was able to track his legs again. And at the end of the fight, Crawford, proving himself a very good finisher, a surprising finisher, went in and just continued to punch and punch and punch till finally Dulorme went down. 3rd knockdown. Rafael Ramos stops the fight at that point. Very impressed with the finishing instincts of Terence Crawford in this fight, like I have never seen him utilize finishing instincts before. He was looking for a knockout, and man, he got it.
Man, oh man, look at this stuff.
Colonel, you remember the old saying, people don't like to use it anymore. They feel it's politically incorrect of killer instinct, but let me tell you.
I use it because that's what he has.
He just showed he knows how to finish. He closed the show, Terence Crawford.
We all know that we're not talking about killing, injuring somebody. It's a term used in boxing meaning very aggressive to finish a fight. So I'm not worried about the political correctness of that statement. All right, Michael Buffer will have to make it official. So without further ado, we will go up to Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star continues to rise for the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska. He is still undefeated, and he is now a 2-time world champion and the new WBO super lightweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford is a brand new WBO junior welterweight 140-pound champion of the world.
One of the best referees in the world handling this one.
Okay, right here is okay. Anything below that's low. Right here is okay. Anything below that's low. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
They don't touch hands.
Freddie
56
Roach.
total wins. Go ahead, Rich, about Freddie.
Yes, Freddie Roach has taught him one thing, how to break the will of his opponents, which he has done in the last 2 fights, and certainly most impressively against Lucas Matisse, whom he forced to quit. Can he do the same with someone as skilled as Bud Crawford?
Well, again, Postol has the advantage at reach 3 inches, and Crawford's going to have to maneuver and deal with that. Crawford starts out as an orthodox fighter here right now, but even that, he's got his right shoulder forward a little bit, so you never know when he's going to switch. Their idea is to try to catch him in the switch. Crawford, of course, has his name in the front. He's got the green trunks with kind of the gold lettering and his logo down the side, and the blue and a little bit of red on his trunks is Victor Postol. This is round number 1. Crawford again notoriously starts slow, but Postol hasn't done anything yet, nor has he been able to touch him with the jab.
Well, Postol's going to have to be patient here and stick to his game plan, which right now, as you can see, he's pursuing Terence Crawford, and he's going to have to use that jab a lot. And he'll have to go through some uncomfortable moments, certainly, because Crawford's not going to be easy to hit.
And
very slick with that jab. Sorry, Christina. Very slick with that jab was Postol. He had that left hand up there, and then all of a sudden zoomed right down to the body. So he's quick-handed. Go ahead, Christina.
no, I was just going to go on to what you guys said about Freddie Roach's biggest concern in this fight with Postol and Crawford is Crawford's speed. They said that's the #1 thing we got to be careful. We got to try to catch him, and their goal is to try to bait him, feint him, catch him coming in. That's what Postol will be looking to do, looking to more counter.
Well, both of these guys can punch and counter punch.
You know, the first time I ever did a Crawford broadcast. I didn't do those fights in Omaha, but when he won in Arlington, Texas, and he beat Thomas Dulorme, and we're sitting at the apron that night and watching, I just couldn't believe how brilliant he was, how skilled he was, the nuances of boxing that he was able to pull off, the things that a lot of people just don't notice. You know, he really was good at doing those things. I mean, really wise veteran, old-timey stuff.
Here he is switching to southpaw. For the last about 30 seconds, he's been southpaw. And he does technical things. He reminds me of a guy who you're, as a matter of fact, inducting in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame next week, Benito Lopez. And I used to watch him. By the time I'd start explaining what he was doing something else. That's how slick he was.
And his ability to make adjustments on the fly is something that sets him apart and makes him special.
Well, he stuck in that left uppercut there, fighting from the southpaw stance right now. He started out orthodox, and he's been southpaw the rest of the way. With about 16 seconds going round one, Crawford has landed more punches so far, although they've been few. Postol hasn't landed much at all except that little clinch there. Now he tries to go to work, but nothing real effective. Here we go to round two. This is scheduled for 12. Colonel Bob Sheridan, Rich Murata, Christina Pancha here. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching around the world. This promises to be a real good fight before it's all said and done.
Postol does have that old style stance of the Eastern European fighters. Straight up, hands held high, looking to jab to set things up.
Crawford southpaw to start this round here.
Yeah. Crawford fought half of the first round right-handed, then switched to southpaw. Now, sometimes he'll stay southpaw like this the rest of the way. He can do that. But I've noticed more and more in the last few fights that he's spending more time as a southpaw.
Well, he feels in there. He's got the feel of it. It's not a thing where they're going to give him instructions on that in the corner. He knows what's working and what feels good and what feels right in there.
Postol very willing to mix it up on the inside like he did with Matisse.
You know, it took a long time with Matisse, and he had to, you just have to be confident in your game plan. You have to keep to it. You have to walk them down and eventually feel that you're going to get there and be able to break them down.
One thing that I see here so far, though, is Postol is not, he's known for that tremendous jab. And how many times has he hit Crawford with the jab? I don't know, maybe once or twice?
I don't think he has. But
yeah, well, I was going to say that too, but I thought, he may have got it once or twice.
Well, and I think Crawford's movement and the way even when he's standing in one place, but he's moving side to side, has Postol a little bit hesitant to keep popping that jab out because he can't really catch him with it. He's just kind of pawing with it in front of his face.
Yeah, it's not like he's, even though he's coming forward, he hasn't really set up that jab by driving off that back foot, and because of Crawford's movement.
Exactly.
He's side to side, he's perpetual motion, and that's why he's such a good fighter. Takes that little side step, and you never know when he's going to come back at you right-handed, because he doesn't switch when he's on the inside. He does it when he's back outside. I read that Freddie wanted to, try to catch him in the switch. Well, I promise you won't catch Crawford in the switch because he does it when he's pulling back out, and he does it when he's away. Other fighters do it too close and they can get caught in the switch. The other thing we got to watch here is watching the front foot when we have the widest shot for you and see who's getting that foot to the outside now that Crawford is spending most of his time as a southpaw. There's that shot that we're looking for. Crawford, see that right foot to the outside. That means he can get his leverage with his left hand down the middle. The Postol touches him to the body with the jab, gets his combination.
That little flurry by Crawford might be enough to win him the round right there, because it's the only significant punches really that were landed in the round.
I think that's all you can say, Rich, and therefore I got to give it to Crawford. I got to.
Yeah, he took the first one, but he gave 3 licks back, right?
That's right.
And he'll keep that for a long time unless Postol at least lands some body punches to start taking those legs away.
And I think Crawford got a little bothered this week when everybody was only talking about Postol's jab. He even said, he was like, well, what about my jab? Nobody's talking about my jab. So I think part of his plan was to kind of show people I can come out here and box too.
Well, he certainly can box. There's no question about that. And so far, he's up by 2. But neither round has been really significant. But he's done just enough to win the round.
I think Postol is doing a very poor job of cutting the ring on Crawford, who's been able to circle basically at will almost.
But Rich, how do you cut it off with this guy the way he moves? Because you go to your left to cut him off moving that way, he'll come back to his right. So, what your observation is right on the mark. Trying to execute is a different kettle of fish.
Exactly. He may have to do something a little more unorthodox, like maybe grabbing Terence and throwing him into the corner.
That's something that frustration might set in a little bit later. Right now, not a lot of punches being landed. Is Postol trying to get in position and throw a punch, and Crawford loaded up that left hook and as he was spinning him. Actually, the southpaw style, that's the right cross, and that's his power shot from this side. But he has equal power either way. Totally ambidextrous, but he stayed, except for the first minute of the first round, he'd been southpaw the rest of the way.
Terence is starting to smile in there, which makes me think that he's beginning to enjoy and feel confident now over the way things are beginning to evolve in this fight.
Well, they're talking. I don't know what Postol's saying, and I'm sure Terence doesn't know either, because he's speaking in
Russian, right?
Right. But for the smile, he's saying something back to him anyway. Crawford has got a real cocky look on his face, doesn't he?
Well, it takes him a couple rounds usually, you know. And by the 3rd, 4th, definitely by the 5th round, he usually is fully confident in what he's going to bring and what his game plan is going to be, although he does do a really good job making adjustments on the fly. But
yeah, here he is with that, you know, shorter reach, and he's doing a good job getting to the body of Postol.
It's frustrating him a little bit because Postol, like you said, can't get inside.
And his jab, which is, you know, everybody talks about, is, you know, it's there. Whoop. Tony, that was one of those times the guy turned his back on him, and you shouldn't. And Crawford was just in the, he's not a dirty fighter at all by any way, shape, or manner. And Postol turned his back on him, and Crawford was in the position of throwing the punch. A little exchange. Crawford sticks his tongue out, walked into a right hand.
Yeah, Postol starting to get in punching range here.
Landed more punches in this round than any other round. But Crawford dictated it, with the exception of that last 20 seconds, it was a Crawford round. Now let's see if he can execute it. Nothing wrong with Freddie's instructions, but it's like Rich was saying, you know, it'd be better if he cut him off. Yeah, it would be. Try to do it. Try to land that jab, which he's so famous for.
Well, I think he wants him to at least throw it out there with some bad intentions instead of throwing a lazy jab.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you pointed out, Rich, too, he's the typical old-style Eastern European fighter with the hands real high and kind of almost a jab up in the air like that. Instead of snapping it out, was what Freddie wants. So he's pawing with it. He's not really committed to it, but he can get committed in a hurry with it. And the other factor is that I think there is a bit of frustration because Crawford is just so quick on his feet moving around.
I like to see Terence still try to find a way to throw more combinations, get inside a little bit. I know it's hard with that high guard you're talking about and how he kind of paused that jab hand out there, but no, I haven't really seen many body shots yet from Crawford, and I like to see him try to get inside more. Oh, there's a good left.
Pretty good counter punch there, too, that Crawford got hit by.
Yep. That right hand counter by Postol.
And Crawford's turned it up a notch now, as he did get clipped by a shot by Postol.
Crowd standing. They're sensing something.
Well, there's going to be more flurries like this throughout the course of this fight. Neither one of these guys are going easy.
Oh.
Everything that Crawford does, the crowd kind of goes nuts because there's about 2 or 3 sections that are strictly Omaha people, and you can hear them cheering. There's the long looping hand. Every time Crawford does something well, the crowd either comes to its feet or gets real excited.
Thing is, Terence is starting to take some chances now. He's picking up his own offense now. By doing that, of course, too, he does court some danger because it does give a possibility of Postol's counters or of Terence actually running into something.
Well, at the outset, I mentioned that Terence notoriously starts slow, but he's in second gear right now. And if you're going to go full offense, and you're going to take a chance of getting clipped too, and that's what's happened in this round a couple of times. But with 40 seconds to go, Postol hasn't won the round. 28, 27, 26 seconds to go in the fourth round. Only been one really good flurry in the fight so far. Great foot movement by Terence Crawford, getting in position to fight. His counter punches here. Postol still not getting that jab on him too much. Left hand gets through. So Postol had the one good left, and Crawford had about 3 different punches that he landed throughout the course. So
Postol there through the left jab and then that right uppercut. Look at Postol's face. Look at, oh, I got you.
Looked like it was him that got by Crawford right there.
Now Crawford is fighting a very smart fight so far.
Manos de Piedras. Roberto Duran, one of the greatest lightweight fighters of all time, went on and moved up. But as a lightweight, he might be the greatest lightweight that ever lived.
He's number 1 on my list.
He's definitely number 1 on my list. He has fun with him at the Hall of Fame ceremonies a couple of weeks ago, and he just enjoys himself. That's going to be scored as a knockdown because his knee touched, and Postol is really annoyed with that. But Tony's right. If anything but the bottom of your soles of your feet touch the canvas, it's a knockdown. It's unfortunate because it's going to cost him a couple of points unless he can pull this round out and keep it to 1.
Yeah,
Terence grabbing him up to. This could turn out to be a big round for Crawford, and he just barely his knee touched. But whoop. Crawford gives him the butterfly movement, and Tony says, keep it right. But Crawford is, you talk about the pay-per-view. Is he risen to the occasion or what? He loves this.
Yeah, he's having a good time in there now. You could see it when he started to crack that smile in the 3rd round.
It's like more charisma tonight than he's shown all week. All these people talk about how he's not very talkative.
Wait a minute, more charisma than ever, Christina.
Yeah. But I mean, he'll come out of that as he matures and develops, and gets more and more confident in his abilities. That side of him will come out.
Wait, people say, that he doesn't talk a lot of trash.
What a great counterpunch. He touches the canvas again.
Yep.
That's another knockdown. And Tony right on it. His gloves definitely hit the canvas. So his knee went down once.
2 flash knockdowns.
Wow.
But that was a beautiful left that started it all. Don't be misled. I mean, there was a real good shot that got it all going.
It was so fast. I need to see the replay on that.
You people might think that that's picayune by the referee, but that's not his call. His proper call is anything but the soles of your feet touch the canvas. It is a knockdown.
Doesn't matter how quickly you get up.
Or the fact it was just your hands or just your knee. So this is a huge round for Crawford now.
If the judges choose to score at 10-7, which they normally would with a 2 knockdown round, but keep in mind the fact that those were both very much flash knockdowns where only his glove really touched the canvas.
2 knockdowns in the judging clinics that I've been to, it's a 10-7 round. But we'll see if the judges follow that, because you don't know. I haven't seen Guido Cavalieri in any of them. I've seen Dave Moretti and Don Trella. So 2 slight knockdowns with a knee touched and then the hands touched. All in favor of Terence Crawford. 15 seconds to go in the round, and what has turned out to be what can be a huge round. Postol caught him with the right hand, and Crawford's back with 2 of his own right hands. Crawford pulls him in by the head and blasts him with the left hand, trying to get his hands free.
Yeah, Postol wants him to fight.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
This came right at the bell. He comes out, little right to the top of the head. He just cuffed him with it. Knee barely touches, but there was. So are you really,
He caught his toe on the canvas is what happened.
Now the second knockdown, there was a real punch here. See that left? See that left? Now that gets him going. He goes across just the bare touch of a glove. The first knockdown was just a little cuffing shot, but the second one, that's a real, there's going to be a real punch. You saw it, that left hand. Gloves go to the ground, second knock. Now, I think that Tony Weeks made the right call on each, that each one was definitely a knockdown. If I was scoring personally, I would not score that a 10-7 round. I would score it 10-8.
And so that's good, because I would score 10-7, and I expect that's what some of the judges will do, Rich. So that's why we get 3 people calling this fight. And we don't disagree with much. But I see your point, too, because they weren't big knockdowns. But according to the rule, Tony Weeks right on top of it, because there's a lot of referees that wouldn't realize that as quick as he did and wouldn't have counted.
Well,
maybe
Terence,
for either one.
And Terence tried to help him out in the first one. He pulled it like his hand went down. Don't miss that.
So Crawford, with all that said and done, if it's a 10-7 round, it's a 50-43 on my score sheet with 5 in the books. This is round 6. Hard shot by Postol, one of his better punches of the fight, but gobbled right up by Terence.
Some of those early rounds were hard to score, but I feel like these last 2 rounds, Terence has really come on. And even if he's taken a shot, he's given a couple back. Let's see if he keeps up that pace.
I thought he felt that right hand though by Postol that landed earlier in this round. He's a little more wary right here.
This is round 6. A little bit more cautious. Crawford wide-eyed. He's got the mouth open. He's still hot dogging it a bit, like he's enjoying it.
Postol just has not hit him enough to slow him down at all.
There's one of those slick things again. He feinted in with the left shoulder like he was going to throw a right hand, and then all of a sudden he lets the left hand go. One of the slick movements to the body of the Iceman. He's going to have to really turn it up a notch to crawl back into this thing.
And try to cut off the ring, because that's when he's been able to catch him a couple times.
And he gets him in the corner, but he's so quick even when he catches up with him. Slick movement there. Pull that left shoulder back and cracked him with the right hand. And those are the slick things he does.
And then when he gets power too.
Yep. And then as he gets to the inside, he pulls him right into him so Postol can't retaliate. I mean, this is really ring generalship by Crawford. And the way he'll throw out the left hand and then he'll skip to one side and then quickly around the other way. These are the slight little things that Rich was talking about. And Postol's inability to land the jab with any real effectiveness is the difference in this fight. Postol is frustrated now.
Yeah.
Finally, he just puts his hand. No, I mean, what he's doing is perfect. He's not running, he's fighting. And when it's time to exchange, it seems like it's always Crawford getting off first. And as I say that, of course, Postol does it first. Very interesting. Big difference in the scoring in this fight is that if, in fact, the judges gave it a 10-7 round in the 5th, and if possibly anybody could have scored a couple of those rounds, the first couple rounds that were fairly close, not much between them at all, that they might have given the other way. That isn't the way I see it. I get Crawford on the shutout right now.
I think you're right on that, Colonel. I don't see how you could have given Postol a round. Yeah, maybe one. There was a
possibly.
Yeah, I think around the 3rd round, I thought he did pretty well.
And while I've done several world title fights that Guido Cavalieri from Italy has scored, as I recall, he's a very, very good judge.
I think a change in strategy has to come from Postol. I think he's got to go reckless, and I think he's got to try to rough up Crawford if he can. Make it more of a mauling fight. Forget about boxing.
But look at that. He thinks he's got him backed off in the corner. All of a sudden, his legs split. You don't know whether he's going to keep sliding to his right. In that case, he went around to his right when he get backed off into the corner. So, I mean, these are the things that Crawford is the ring general. Then he comes in, lunges. The Iceman bends over. He gets hit in the side of the head. See, that's that move, and it's frustrating Postol. Crawford puts his hands up the eye. I'm an innocent little lad. He blasts the body. He's tough, too. You know, there's a lot of street.
And I'm liking the game plan that Brian Bomac McIntyre has put together. I think they're doing a great job. They're doing what they need to do to win these rounds. I mean, much has been said about, you know, Freddie Roach in the other corner, but you got to give Team Crawford some credit in their preparation. They're frustrating Postol.
You know, Victor has a reach advantage in this fight in terms of inches, and with his normally effective left jab, you would think that would really be a big part of the fight, but Crawford has completely taken the jab away from him.
And that's with the movement. And he doesn't just go to his right and commit to his right. He'll take a couple of bounces to his right and then boom, right back the other way. Or he'll step with his left foot behind him. Then he'll plant like he just did then. Let off the punches. There's no way you can give the Iceman that round. See, try to do things. Look at this. Look at this, Rich. Boom.
That's just great work. I mean, what can you say? That's just brilliant fighting.
Oh.
He was leaning back, and then Postol lures Postol into leaning forward.
Oh.
You get clipped again.
It was almost one of those flash knockdowns. His glove barely stayed off the canvas.
You better start before the bell rings if you fight Terence Crawford.
And on top of that, not only can he not land the jab, Crawford has him totally frustrated.
Crawford burst out.
You
laughing.
go, I go. One of you has to throw.
But that's very frustrating for the guy that's already had a couple of knockdowns scored that he probably doesn't believe either one of them should have been scored against him.
I don't know how he could do it, but Postol, I think, has just got to rush Crawford.
Absolutely,
Rich. Throw him into the corner, maul him if he can.
Anything to try to mug him.
Do something illegal.
Yeah,
throw it off balance. You know, he's got to change the paradigm that we're witnessing evolve here.
Now, Freddie asked him to throw some hard right hands to try to catch up with this guy. Look at this jab up in the air like this. Again, the typical Eastern European jab. But that's not the jab that Postol's known for. It's not the jab we saw him against Lucas Matisse.
Especially when it's a foot short of the target.
And Crawford, meanwhile, is just trying to figure out where he can attack. That hand goes up in the air. He'll come downstairs with the body just like that.
Yep.
Oh, cracked him with a hard left hand. Off balance again.
And that's why Postol doesn't want to throw first.
When Postol gets hit, he goes off balance. It doesn't look like he's staggered, Rich, but you know, he really goes off balance with that left hand. There it is again, and he falls away from it.
Yep, and so he is affected by the punch.
Absolutely, he's affected by it. Let's see what Terence did. The uppercut, left hand. I mean, you just don't know from whence he's coming, this guy. This is a brilliant, brilliant boxing. He wanted to showcase himself on pay-per-view. So far, so good. But Terence Crawford. Now he's got him in a corner, but he waited too long. Get him in the corner, you better snap the trap, because Crawford won't be there. And if he's going to be there, he's going to be firing. In that time, spins around and he knows how to tie this guy up. The guy can't do anything with it. Postol now, it looks like he's got a little adrenaline flow right now. He lands a right hand, but it's partially blocked on the gloves. He didn't really catch his chin.
No, but that was a pretty good punch.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far off the mark. He needs a little more of that.
Well, that's what Freddie wants him to try to land, but again, easier said than done. They were a little split by that left eye. Can't tell if Postol's left eye might have, I guess not.
This is what happened earlier. This was kind of humorous. The Come on, hit me. I'll throw. No, you throw. Come on. Gotcha. But then later on in the round, as you can see, that was actually behind the head. He cuffed him behind the head. I'm going to give him that third round.
All right.
For the benefit of international relations.
But you wouldn't be wrong, and I wouldn't disagree with it. And those first 4 rounds were very close, and there wasn't a lot between the two of them.
Even the first one was kind of tough.
Yeah. So if you gave a couple of those rounds to Postol, it's insignificant at this stage. And I wouldn't find any fault with giving a couple of the first 4 rounds to Postol. It's just not the way I scored. I hate to say this, Rich, but I've scored more fights than all 3 of the official judges combined. But they're the official judges.
Their scores matter.
Exactly.
Now the fans are a little frustrated here.
Yeah, this is not the type of action that we expected in this fight, but we didn't expect that Crawford would be so dominant in this fight. Picking his shots, but his defense has, been sensational in this fight. We're in the 9th round, mostly Crawford, but Crawford not doing much in the 9th round whatsoever, except continuing to move and frustrating our friend from the Ukraine.
Well, and after watching 8 rounds and going to the 9th now, this is the 1 versus 2. It seems like Terence Crawford is just widening the gap about how close Postol is in that number 2 spot.
And that time the legs did start to go at Postol.
2-punch combination, and that hurt him.
His hands have come down. His legs aren't there right now. He's fighting on heart, and he finally has to tie up Crawford. Crawford knows how to get rid of him, and it throws him off. There's plenty of time still in this round. But that flurry was a hard flurry, and it did shake the legs of Postol. Crawford looking to land something heavy right now. Postol, where's the jab that was supposed to be so effective?
Bud really he's serious. I mean, you take a look at him, he's dominating the fight. But you can see he has a healthy respect still for Postol.
Sure.
Yeah, well, this guy's a very, very good fighter that he's in there with. Just everything has gone Crawford's way in this fight. Some by design and a couple of, strange sort of knockdowns.
And Freddie talked about just breaking down Terence Crawford round after round and taking his will, but if that was the game plan, it's not going that way. It's
not at all.
There's been not enough punches thrown to break down his will.
But even if we change that to a 2-point difference and you gave him a couple of the first 4 rounds, Crawford has definitely done everything from 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus he won the 5th round by at least 2 points, so this isn't a close fight. But that doesn't mean Postol can't catch him. It's not likely right now the way Crawford is. I mean, they're both in magnificent shape. Look at the bodies of these 2 men. Postol's got to be frustrated by Crawford. And it's not only the foot speed, but the hand speed has been significant too.
And with the championship rounds now, this 10, 11, and 12 here, both of these guys being world champions, we knew this would be a fight of adjustments, and it just looks like Postol, I don't know if he's just not listening to what Freddie's saying or he's just not able to make them, but that plan B has never come out.
Well, he had the plan B where he wanted a lot more right hands. He tried to throw him and he gets counterpunched by Crawford. I mean, he came in with the idea of trying to land jabs. This time he doesn't do it. He stays there and bends over and makes him go over his shoulder.
And usually by this time in a fight, Postol is beating down and breaking down his opponent. But he hasn't landed enough punches. Really, I mean, Terence Crawford looks like he could fight 20 rounds tonight. 25 rounds right at this pace. He's not getting hit enough for it to matter.
He's hardly getting hit at all. Even then, with that double jab that he threw, you saw the perspiration and the water fly off the head of Postol. You don't see that again, the jab is short. And another hard left hand. And remember, Crawford has fought this entire fight as a southpaw, except the first probably minute of the first round. Look at that. There's a straight left right down the middle on the right-handed fighter. The right hook, the straight left jab again. All these are, you know, these are fairly heavy punches, showing the conditioning of Postol, but the frustration that he can't get to this guy at all. With 54, 53, 52 seconds left in the 10th round. Again, you know, he goes to throw the jab, and how quick Crawford is, he slides around that time to his right and bops him with the right hand as he goes. He didn't just move around to get away, so therefore I don't see him as running.
Question is he doing enough that would stamp him as...
Go ahead, Rich, with that thought.
As somebody to fight Manny Pacquiao in November.
Well, that's supposed to be one of the gifts. You know, that's another. Can Pacquiao come up with another sensational fight like he did against Timothy Bradley? Look at this.
And he does a nice job, Terence, of being able to back off, lure a guy forward toward him, and then quickly catch him coming in.
I mean, the way he's moving, and you picture Manny trying to catch up with him, and Manny moves very well. He's very quick on his feet, too, but let's finish this one first. We're in the 11th round. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here, Rich Murata, Christina Poncher, our principals, 2 champions. One is going to lose his title tonight, and right now it looks like Terence Crawford is going to pick that up right now in the 11th round. It's been all Crawford on my score sheet. Nobody has really been seriously shaken in the fight. Postol was down twice, but again, it was just a knee touched the canvas, and when he kind of dragged his toe, he went down. The second one was more definitive, but only his gloves touched the canvas. But Tony Weeks did exactly the right thing under the rules of the Marquess of Queensberry.
And this has to say a lot about Terence Crawford. If this was a 50-50 fight, and this was 1 versus 2, and the very best 2 at 140, which everybody believes that it was, and he's beating him handedly round after round, how good is Terence Crawford?
Well,
or is Postol not as good as we thought he was?
He's looking like a 5-1 favorite, which is what he was.
Postol,
he's fighting like it.
You know, 28. No, he's a good fighter, and we saw him against Batiste, who was an excellent fighter, and he handled him. But he just hasn't been able to do anything with Terence Crawford. Crawford still, that's a slick punch every time. That supposedly great jab, and it has been a great jab up until tonight. As that hand comes down now, the right hand of Crawford is over it. It's so much quicker than Postol, who holds it way up there, and then he drops it just a bit. And as Terence moves to his right, he's able to score at will with the right hand.
He just lures you in on him, and he gets you to stick your chin out.
And he's in the zone. He is in the zone right now.
I mean, don't forget his right hand is his jabbing hand, but I mean, this guy, for all practical purposes, can fight as a right-handed fighter too, so he's got plenty of power in his right hand. This is what makes him so good. And there, he bends down, he grabs, he starts talking in his ear. Totally frustrating this guy. Postol is a very frustrated fight. That time, one of the few times you see the uppercut. And you're coming in. How frustrated are you going to be, Rich, when you don't know, man, every time I try to do something, nothing works. He reaches that time with his right hand. Freddie asked him to throw more right hands back 4 or 5 rounds ago, but nothing successful.
I really thought that tonight that Crawford would have some uncomfortable moments.
He hasn't had many uncomfortable moments in this one. He got clipped by a decent right hand.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful when he turns his back because now time has been called out. He's going to take a point away for hitting in the back of the head, and he should. It's a very, very dangerous thing. It's academic anyway. So this is going to turn out to be another 10-8 round. And this is the 12th and final round. The only way Postol can win this, Postol needs a knockout.
He came
He's
right
going for it.
Yeah, he landed left and a right.
And he's furious about the point going away, and so is Freddie in the corner. I understand, but you got to follow the rules all the way. You can see an adrenaline flow for Postol because Freddie had told him, you got to knock this guy out now.
Maybe too little, too late.
Yeah, but he should have fought at this pace.
Exactly.
Before this. You leave yourself one round to get it done.
But see, he's kind of waltzes into his guy, and here he is. Postol's going for knock, and Crawford knows how to get out of there. Postol's just got his ears back, and this is going to be a brawl to the end now. And this is what we expected a lot more of. But even then, when he comes in, he gets bopped by that right hand of Crawford. Crawford moves, he fades him, he gets the guy to jump.
Yeah, but
so much in his arsenal. Sorry, Rich.
But so what if you're Postol? Take some chances. Go in there, rush in. If you get hit, you get hit. You get hit anyway.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
Take your shot.
Do anything you can do. Hit him behind the head again. Take the loss of the point. You got to try and knock this guy out. Nothing that he's done to this point in the fight has worked, and the only thing that can work is a knockout. We've had strange knockouts in a final round. Remember Michael Moore winning every second of his fight against George Foreman?
And Chavez Jr. almost pulled it off against Sergio Martinez when he'd lost every round practically.
And Chavez Sr., he had a very controversial win when Richard Steele stopped the fight. Although to this day, if you see Meldrick Taylor, we know that was right. Postol is into this thing now. He caught Crawford with a good right hand, but he's backing off. There's only about a minute to go in this fight.
Now Crawford saying, come on, I'll fight you. So fight him.
Crawford doesn't have to do this. Oh, he hit him right in the button with a hard shot on the inside with that right hand. Crawford wants to make a point right now. This is the type of fight we thought we'd see all along.
By doing
Crawford saying, no, you can't do anything with me. Sticks the tongue out. How frustrated is Postol? A good fighter, and Crawford has just made him look almost hapless tonight.
Well, some people won't like that very much and what he's doing.
That's all right.
He's won almost every round of this fight, and rightfully so. Took away everything that Postol had going for him.
Postol clipped him, and he was trying to make a point. Great movement by Crawford. 14, 13, 12. Inside of 10 seconds to go now in the fight. This has been a brilliant fight for Crawford, no matter what anybody says. This is a brilliant fight. He nails him, almost dropped him. And that's it, it's all over. Look at the smile on his face. You said almost every round, Christina. I got to win in every round.
All right, let's take a look at it. Last round action. There's that left that he caught Postol with.
Almost dropped him, Rich.
Near the end of the round. It was a good shot. Really was more of a jab.
It was a jab, but did you see his legs buckle? Wow, look at this stuff.
You know, he opened up a little in the first minute of the round.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. Guido Cavallari and Don Trolla both scored at 118-107. Dave Moretti 117-108. All to the winner by unanimous decision. And now both WBC, WBO light welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
Wearing silver with white and blue trim, he weighed in at the 140-pound limit. Started from the bottom now. He enters the ring an undefeated world champion with 31 victories. 22 of those victories coming by way of KO. Universally recognized as pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. Defending his WBO and WBC junior welterweight titles. Born, bred, and rep in Omaha, Nebraska. Terence Crawford. this crowd, this sea of red, right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Will it be a night when history is made for their hometown hero? Jack Reese, veteran referee.
Right now, the belts are good. If they come up, I don't want to let them work in here. I gave you both instructions. I just want to remind you, listen and obey my commands at all time. Protect yourself at all time. Fight hard, fight clean. Good luck to both of you.
Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas, and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Andre Ward, with the call here ringside. Indongo, Crawford, all 4 belts, junior welterweight championship. Let's get after it.
This is the first fight for Indongo in the United States. All but 2 of his fights in Africa. Heck of a way to welcome somebody to the country by giving him the 3rd best fighter in the world, at least in my estimation.
I think Indongo's up for the challenge.
Southpaw against the southpaw. Crawford is listed as an orthodox fighter, but when he fights lefties, well, different ways to handle it. Some people get their lead left foot outside the lead right foot of a southpaw from the orthodox position. Not Crawford. Fights fire with fire. Very comfortable going southpaw. That's where he is right now.
What'll be apparent early is Indongo, he's straightforward and he's straight backwards. He's consistent. That's who he's going to be the whole fight. Crawford's got more tools in the toolbox. You'll see more lateral movement, switching from right to left. So just look forward to that as this fight continues to progress.
Good looking counter left hand from Crawford as Indongo lunged in.
One other thing that Crawford is that you missed, he's faster. Quicker hands.
He buzzed Indongo with that straight left, got his attention right away.
So skilled is Bud.
As we said on camera, setting this up, and to your point, Crawford is more dimensional, more versatile. He can do more things. One dimension of Indongo, and it all is about that left hand, the power hand, the backhand for the southpaw.
Crawford, one of the best switch hitters in the game, can do it either way. Comes out, as Teddy said, he's going to meet fire with fire and be in that southpaw stance. But he is equal power no matter which stance he's in.
Indongo to me right now just looks a little tight. A little tighter than he was in his first 2 fights on the road, fighting and defending his belt.
Remember, he won his first world title with a first-round knockout.
Indongo is undefeated, but not undented. He's been on the floor twice in his career.
But Crawford has never been knocked down, of course, as a pro, but nor as an amateur after his successful run, a 2-division world champion.
You know, we talk about all these talents, all these abilities. Who's got the physical strength? Who has the size, the length, the speed, all those things. But one thing that shouldn't be missed that I think favors Crawford, the intellect. He's smarter inside that squared circle.
And Crawford is finding out that Indongo probably needs to be a little smarter lunging in there. Some opportunities existed there in the first round for Crawford. Had that opening left hand. And then an exchange moments ago. End of 1 here for all 4 titles.
We talked about earlier about Crawford having more dimensions. Well, you see right here some of those dimensions. You can set traps. Take a little step back, get Indongo to reach a little bit, give up his height, and counter with that right hook from the southpaw position.
One of 9 punches he connected with, according to CompuBox, in that first round.
With Indongo, you're worried about the jab, the setup punch, and the power punch, the left hand. But Crawford, more tools in that toolbox. You have to worry about the left hand, the jab, and the right hook. And again, a very dangerous punch for a southpaw. This is up close, and it comes from a place where your peripheral just doesn't pick it up sometimes. So many ways to deal with a tall guy, Andre. You know, the conventional way, You can walk in, move your head, bring your feet, come behind your jab, and get close. Another way, the way that Crawford did early with that replay, you saw it. Step back, set a trap, entice the taller guy to give up his height, to come to you, to become short, to become small.
He enticed him to reach. He made him pay. He disciplined him.
On paper, it's a 3-inch height advantage. There's a swinging, swiping left hand from Indongo. Crawford gets right back into the kitchen and the crowd reacts.
Faster hand from Crawford.
No doubt about it.
And more explosive. Power's there for Indongo, don't get me wrong. But it's wider power. It's blunt power. The sharper power. The more concise punches, Crawford.
And I think just overall, Crawford is just more settled. And when you're settled as a fighter, you can think better, you can implement your game plan better, and you'll see the shots that you need to land. Good shot from Crawford right there, but Indongo still just a little tight for my taste.
And then on the back end, a right hand to the body, and that's going to be a knockdown score.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are you okay? You want to continue? Give me your gloves.
A lot of time left.
I think he might have got up too fast. He's still hurt.
That's a great point. Let's see how he reacts.
Terence Crawford is a great finisher.
And perhaps a little too willing is Indongo here. Half minute left in the second round.
And a little too fat with his punches. Crawford went to a butcher. He got that fat chopped off his punches. See how straight they are? How concise they are? Crawford's get there faster.
Nearly clipped him again. Came hunting with a right hook as they tie up in the final seconds of round 2. Big round for Bud Crawford. His mother, Deborah, loving every moment of it.
Take a look at the knockdown right here. Right hand to the body. You're going to see the left hand coming up right there behind the ear. And Mama's happy.
Crawford is so accurate with those power punches. We told you, landing 48% of them, 5th highest in boxing according to CompuBox.
Andre, that left hand didn't land on the chin, but behind the ear. That can stay with you. That can discombobulate your equilibrium.
Yeah, to the people at home, it didn't look like much, but it was a lot. It threw off his equilibrium, and he was hurt for the remainder of that round. And he might still be a little hurt right now.
You see tonight, that power punch percentage is already at 57%.
I talked about it in the fight plan. How does Crawford deal with southpaws? Just becomes one. A pretty damn good one.
When we mentioned it earlier, Teddy, you know, whether it's orthodox or southpaw, he has the ability to put you on your seat. The skill, the power, the speed, total package is Crawford.
And even though Indongo is a 2-time world champion, this is the best opponent and the best fighter that he's faced in his career. Not the case for Crawford. Crawford has a long list of quality opposition that's prepared him for this moment right now. Indongo still looking a little unsure about what he wants to do offensively.
Left uppercut tried to split the guard. Indongo came forward that time. But you can see some doubt, to your point, Andre. He is fat with those left hands, Teddy. There is opportunity throughout the night.
Yeah, you can handle those fat punches if you Crawford 2 different ways. Punch in between them.
Another knockdown scored with a vicious body shot. Oh my, what a body shot.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Bud Crawford is the undefeated, undisputed champion of the world. happen in 11 years of the sport. Boxing's first undisputed champion in any weight class in over a decade. Head up there, Mom. Hug your son. He's on top of the world, Deborah. We're going to give you every replay you could ever want because he finished it in sensational fashion. But for now, let us make it official. Fight fans, this bud's for you. You got yourself an undisputed champion. Here's Lupe.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jack Reach reaches the count of 10 with an official time of 1 minute 38 seconds of round number 3, declaring the winner by way of knockout, still undefeated. And now, the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world, from Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
In front of the fans in Lincoln, Nebraska. All right, Teddy, take us through it.
I was just talking about with fat punches, you can punch in between them. And that's exactly what Crawford did. Just watch. Wide punches create holes. There's a big hole underneath. Left hand to the body by the southpaw of Crawford. Right hook misses. Left hand to the body. The follow-up doesn't. Young fighters out there, that's the benefit of combination punches. The first misses, the second lands.
And sitting next to the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world as our broadcast partner tonight, a man who just scored a vicious knockout victory to maintain that status. What do you make of it?
I love it. It's body punching. Body punching is a lost art in our sport. We got a lot of headhunters. Everybody wants to highlight real knockout, but the body doesn't move like the head does. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And again, taking advantage of what was in front of him. The intellect, the technique. Being a smarter, more concise fighter, not just a stronger fighter, but that's what you saw right there from Crawford. Wide punch from Indongo, that creates a hole. And Crawford, with the shorter punches, quicker punches, he filled the hole.
An American boxing superstar takes a major step forward tonight. Draped in enough belts to share them with his family. A sellout of over 12,000. And not one Nebraska fan but Crawford fan has left. Because on the list now of notable undisputed, undefeated, untied champions in boxing history, well, you can throw the name Bud Crawford in there, folks. Bud Crawford, sensational knockout victory to put his stamp on history. Let's go to the ring and hear from the champ with Bernardo.
All right, we're here with Terence Bud Crawford. How does it sound to hear undisputed, unified 140-pound champion and to be able to drape all 4 belts around your body and share it with your family tonight and with your fans?
Well, first and foremost, I gotta thank God for blessing me with the victory. But it feels great. It feels, man, like a dream come true. I like to thank everybody that came out. I like to thank Nebraska, America. I did this for all of us.
You did it for boxing as well. Everybody says the belts don't matter. How much do they matter to you tonight?
Belts matter. You know, I'm the only one that could be labeled as champion at 140, and that's a big deal to me.
Last time there was a unified champion, the first time there was a 4-belt champion, it was Bernard Hopkins against Oscar De La Hoya. Bob was remembering exactly how that happened. Talk to me about that body shot that finished this fight tonight.
Oh, man, we've been practicing on body shots all camp. It's been a rough, tough camp, and everything that we worked on in camp, it came out today in the fight.
Pound for pound, that's something that's very important to you. Do you think you made a statement tonight? We've got the #1 pound-for-pound fighter sitting ringside and Andre Ward. How close do you feel you are now to being #1 pound-for-pound?
Andre Ward, that's one of my favorite fighters, but I have to top him on this one.
All right, and now everybody wants to know what's next. Is there unfinished business at 140 now that you have all the belts, or is 147 in the future for you?
Well, I'm going fishing next, and then I'm going to rest up with my family, and then my coaches and my managers, they're going to see what's next for me.
How important is it to share this with your children, to be able to drape those belts around them and to share this moment?
What they told me before I fought, they said, "Daddy, you gonna bring his belts home?" I said, "You already know I'm gonna bring his belts home." And now they got belts around their necks, just like me.
Terence Crawford sitting on top of the world here in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the fans showed up and Terence Crawford showed out.
Did he ever?
We went over the dressing room. We went over the rules in the dressing room. Keep it clean. Set yourself for that fan. Let's do this.
Joe Tessitore alongside two-division world champion Timothy Bradley and Mark Kriegel ringside. All the talk is done. It's time to fight. Benavidez, Crawford, WBO welterweight championship of the world.
See both guys right now trying to figure the range out, the speed, the distance.
See how much taller Benavidez is. He is not, however, longer than Bud Crawford.
No, not as far as arm reach goes.
I always find that fascinating with Bud, his ability to get around, especially with that looping right hand. Remember, he will switch stances. Benavidez no stranger to that as well. He opens up orthodox to start this evening.
See Crawford right away moving, trying to create things with his feet, using his jab in spurts. Benavidez is stocking right now with a strong, stiff jab.
Remember, they're two natural counterpunchers, and I have to think that was some of the purpose behind Benavidez egging him on and antagonizing the way he did. He wants Crawford to come forward and attack.
Crawford giving him a smile and a little nod of the head when he went with that jab to the body. Benavidez tried to catch him with that left hand as he came forward. Now drops his guard and pumps defensively for a moment.
Benavidez showing right away that he's not scared of Terence Crawford. He's stalking him, getting Terence Crawford on his bicycle.
Benavidez not just the height, but naturally the bigger man who walks around significantly north of where he fights at. And checked in at what I found to be a surprising 145 pounds now.
He's a natural welterweight since adolescence, and he's fought as high as 54.
Now the switch in stance from Crawford.
Benavidez right there landed two jabs on Crawford. Crawford trying to step in and counterpunch, but you see it's a little difficult. Benavidez is controlling the outside range with that jab while he's stocking.
Tim, you like the early work with that jab of Benavidez.
He's going to have to out-jab Terence Crawford. The jab is what sets up everything for Terence Crawford.
And then Crawford sitting on top with that now southpaw right jab as he comes in with a straight left to the body that scores here.
Crawford got to be careful in lunging. He lunged with that straight left. Benavidez is a good counterpuncher.
Bud shakes that off. We're going to take just one short break here and then back to Crawford and Benavidez. Stick around. Remember, we wondered if Jose Benavidez Jr. would be too emotional, too amped up. He was in control in that first round.
I agree with you. I had winning the round by virtue of his jab. Let's remember, however, Crawford took exception with Tim yesterday. I'm not a slow starter, but I think he is. I think he takes a certain amount of time to download his opponent's information, as it were.
I have to agree with you, Mark, on that. He does, but I like what I'm seeing right now from Benavidez. He got Crawford kind of tentative and not committing right away. Crawford, most of the time, likes to commit after that jab, and Benavidez is standing his ground and not allowing him to commit with anything after his jab.
And just for the layman out there, Tim, when you say commit with the jab, the natural counter-punching to fire it off. Fire comes at you, you come over with the counter-punch that matches up.
Absolutely, and that's how you need to do it. But Benavidez is keeping him honest with his footwork, taking a half a step back like that. And he's also firing back with his jab, making Terence Crawford tentative to fire the left hand.
I think Terence has to go to the body here. Jab, then go downstairs.
Well, I would take my attention downstairs. You see how big that frame is from Benavidez, but Terence right now is picking to choose to see if he can wear him down a little bit mentally. Get him to make mistakes. Crawford trying to change levels right now. Look like he's trying to land something over the top.
Got to give Terence a little time, Terence.
There he is.
And there he goes to the body. It was a left hand to the body from Crawford. Benavidez shakes it off. He says, isn't anything.
Crawford has extreme concentration. He can concentrate for 36 minutes and figure it out in there.
Benavidez leaning forward, guard down, trying to draw Crawford in. Crawford steady. There's Miss Deborah. Always an interesting watch ringside. He's got that right hand fisted up.
See, what I like with Benavidez, he's taking the jab away from Crawford. And that's one thing you got to do when you fight Terence Crawford. You see him fire back with his jab right there. Benavidez.
Good exchange. That last round saw the body work from Bud Crawford, and then that exchange at the end when each man just had the glancing blow, but a willingness to throw. Round number 3 here, Crawford and Benavidez.
I'm taking with Benavidez confidence. He's never fought in a fight like this. He's never fought an opponent this good, and you can tell he believes he's supposed to be here. He says Terence Crawford ducked him. I don't find any evidence of that. But in boxing, the imagined slights are usually more important than the real ones.
Terence Crawford right now trying to get his jab working and trying to pick up the pace on Benavidez.
Jab going from there. There's another body shot that got around the left arm of Benavidez. So that's the second time Bud Crawford has scored well with that right hand to the body. That hook from that southpaw stance with the hot pink gloves. You can tell with the trunk and the gloves, breast cancer awareness top of mind for the champ.
There, Terence Crawford coming around the guard there. Benavidez has a tendency of going to that peekaboo, that shell defense. And Crawford coming around the elbow of Benavidez to land that body shot.
Tim, can Crawford also come off the jab and shoot a straight left hand?
He definitely can, but he has to be careful because Benavidez, like I said, is a great counterpuncher. He has a good right hand.
Doubles up the right hand that time, does Crawford. There he works his way to the inside and included yet another body punch. This is a good-looking third round for Bud Crawford.
I think the information is downloaded now, Tim.
Seems that way, doesn't it, Mark?
But you see that right knee of Benavidez pulling straight back, getting caught with those combinations and putting those earmuffs on. That's target practice for a guy like Terence Crawford.
The right knee is the knee that was shot. A bullet went through the femoral artery. It fractured the bone. And according to people who have worked in the Benavidez camp, Alex Ariza is former strength and conditioning coach, that knee is not yet ready for an opponent like Terence Crawford.
Absolutely, it's not. It's not ready.
If Benavidez concedes it will never be 100%. The question is this the right time to take the fight?
See that brace on the right knee. Right knee that's trying to support that back power and get out of the way of range from Bud Crawford, who has had so much success going to the body in this round. Taking control here.
From the champion, Bud Crawford, stepping in behind the jab. You see the peekaboo defense there, even though Benavidez shook that off. He landed those hard body shots on Benavidez. And here it is again. When you put that peekaboo defense up with those hands up, it leaves an opening for the outside to the body around the elbows of Benavidez.
Round number 4. The two undefeateds. One the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That's Terence Bud Crawford. Trained by Brian McIntyre, a.k.a. Bomac, who's with Bernardo.
Bomac, it seems that Terence is getting his rhythm here. What did you tell him? What do you want for round 4?
I told him to keep his hands up and go behind that double jab, because Benavidez will catch the first jab, but he won't catch the second jab. After you throw the second jab, he'll try to cover up. You can get closer to him. So after you get closer to him, then you start going to the body, come back up to the head.
Say anything about the power of Benavidez?
No, ain't no power. He ain't got no power.
Thank you very much.
Now Bud just shook off a little taste of that power and stuck out his tongue at Benavidez. And it's an interesting and dynamic relationship between Bomac and Terence Crawford.
Well, about 30 seconds ago, Benavidez landed some clean right hands. He landed 3 in a row. Bud Crawford trying to come in behind the jab, got caught coming straight down the middle on the way in with the right hand of Benavidez.
And you said, watch out for that right hand. Tried to go to the body there, Bud went up top. Now he comes sweeping across that belt line and came up short.
This is high-level prize fighting right here. These guys are at mid-distance range, exchanging shots, going back and forth, offense and defense by both of these guys.
And look at the feet. Crawford's getting his right foot outside Benavidez' left.
And that is always critical when you watch the southpaw against the orthodox. Take note of that front foot of Bud Crawford. If he gets that outside position, and now all of a sudden there's a switch to southpaw with Benavidez. But that prime position, watch for it here.
Well, Benavidez was looking for some help by switching southpaw. He got hit with some good shots from Bud early on, and he's looking to just create things, different angles by switching southpaw.
I got news for you, fellas. Crawford's found his rhythm.
Oh, good right hand by Benavidez, right on the belt line where it says Crawford in pink.
That's what Benavidez needs to do. He needs to go down to Crawford's body.
Here it is. Look to your left. It's super slow-mo.
That's what
as he plants it.
It was a little low. Right on the belt line right there.
Crawford off balance that time. Wildly intriguing round number 4 between these two unbeatens here in Omaha. Remember, Benavidez says, I'm not going to change who I am. He hasn't so far. He stood right in there, landed that good right hand to the body moments ago. That had to bring some confidence to the corner of Benavidez. That's where we find Bernardo with Benavidez Sr.
All right, Jose. 3rd round was good for Crawford. 4th round, what worked for Jose Jr.?
I think all the round Junior is getting him. I don't know what you've seen in the 3rd round. I think he's boxing him beautiful. You know, he's making miss. You know, he can't feel the punch. And look, he's getting hit. Look at that, you know. But, of course, you got to go with the crowd, whatever you guys say. But I think he's doing really beautiful. He's going to the body. He's catching him with those straight right hands. Look at that. How can you tell me that? Look. But, of course, you know, you're in his hometown. Everybody, every time he touches a little bit, people makes it seem like it's big. But when he gets touched, nobody says nothing. It's like everybody's dead. But we're doing good. We're so happy. We got to maintain that jab. We got to try to go a little bit more straight punches to the body and make him get frustrated. You know, the good thing about this guy, he's not running, you know. That makes it easy. Maybe because Junior is not following him, you know. So hopefully he can keep like that. I think that's we're happy with everything that we're seeing right now.
Thank you very much. You got a good read on how the situation is going.
Sure did. And not running makes a good night for you, the viewer, and these fans here. And by the way, in terms of the way the crowd reacts, they very much knew what they were getting themselves into, so much so to the point that Jose Jr. said, hey, this fight's not going the distance. I can't let that happen here in his hometown.
A little politicking by Jose Sr. there. Although I think this has been an excellent round so far for Jr. And that right hand was a decisive blow in the previous round, the right hand to the body. It definitely hurt Crawford right as he was establishing a rhythm.
And then really let his hands go in the opening moments of this 5th round, Sam.
He did let his hands go. Crawford had his hands up. He blocked most of those punches. But Crawford right now is bringing his attention down to the body of Benavidez and having success over the top with the right hook and occasional left hand when Benavidez try to pull out. Both guys probing, trying to get control of the lead hand. That's why you see all the hand gestures from both guys.
Benavidez was searching for that right hand to the body again. That time, he caught him with a short right hand as Crawford came in.
See, Crawford is right in front of Benavidez. Crawford should pick up his feet and use a little bit more angles and confuse Benavidez.
Perhaps a better test than many imagined for the great Bud Crawford. A guy who sits #1 atop so many pound-for-pound fighter in the world list. The guy who was #1 pound-for-pound, retired, now works for us, taking on the best in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. You heard Andre say, real championship fights don't get started until after the 6th round. So here comes that halfway mark, round number 6 for the WBO 147-pound title. Let's look at the CompuBox numbers as they're being tallied tonight. Total power punches. Remember we mentioned the percentage of Crawford typically at 48%. He's tracking at 39% right now. Benavidez a tick lower at 38%. Competitive fight.
You mentioned, Joe, that this is more than most people imagine from Jose Benavidez, but it's not more than Jose Benavidez imagined as a kid when he was sparring with Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan, Shane Mosley. He was 16, 17 years old. And he was the prodigy he was supposed to be the prodigy of this division.
Just pause and think about that for a moment. He was sparring Manny Pacquiao at 16 years old.
He even sparred me.
What was that like, Tim?
You know, like I said, he's a great counterpuncher. He'll wait on you. He'll use that jab occasionally, but he'll wait on you and he'll fire some combinations back at you. Great counterpuncher. And he has good speed.
But his sense of himself as a fighter was based on those sparring sessions. He's never been in with anyone like that, except for when he was a kid.
Interesting moment right there as Bud came in and then the right hand came in at a downward angle. Good exchange right in the center of the ring.
And there's a difficulty basing your sense of yourself on sparring, also something that happened almost a decade ago.
Right now, Benavidez is having some success.
He is with that right hand, Tim.
Straight right hand, and also, like the champ said, he's catching Crawford on the way out. Crawford had a tendency of doing so, getting off and coming right back.
3-punch combination moments ago by Crawford that spiked this crowd here. You saw him double up that left hand. Now he gets right into the kitchen of Benavidez. And he let him go again. This has been a good round here. Round number 6. Three-punch combination and another right hand to the body from Bud Crawford.
Pick him up, pick him up, pick him up.
End of 6 for the welterweight title. Joe, Tim, Mark, and Bernardo here ringside. They are on their feet in Omaha. It has been a very good first half of this world title fight. And now, as Andre Ward said, this is when it really happens. In fact, let's bring in the scorecard of the former two-division world champion. As Ward has it 58-56 for Crawford.
Crawford right now controlling the outside. That's why he's able to land these shots. Benavidez has nowhere to go but back. While Crawford controlling the lead foot, getting outside of the left foot of Benavidez.
And that gives him position to do just that.
Yes.
To land the straight left hand. He has had so much success already with the right hand to that left flank of Benavidez. Here's David Benavidez, undefeated himself. Jose's brother, so talented at 168 pounds.
We see a lot of boxing dads who have sired one champion, but to my knowledge, there's none that have sired two.
Jose Sr., the trainer of Jose Jr. Outrageous life story himself.
It's like the movement of Crawford has Benavidez standing still.
I think that Crawford's fighting a little up, but in terms of stamina, it looks like Benavidez has less.
Well, at this point, all the body shots that Terence Crawford has landed is definitely doing this, making the toe, and doing his toe, and doing what it's supposed to do.
Bernardo has been monitoring both corners. What can you tell us, Bernie?
Well, Benavidez is doing exactly what his father doesn't want him to do. He wanted him to use a jab in this round, to not step straight back, to be more active. And Bomac called it the round before. He said, I see Benavidez breathing hard, and I think Bud is in a great place.
He came in, and Bud came at him. Final 30 seconds here of round 7.
You see there's no jab. Now Benavidez is willing to cover up right in front of Terence Crawford. That's a huge mistake.
He's tired.
He is tired.
And Absolutely. If you do that, you're going to have offense coming right at you.
It was from all the body shots Terence Crawford did early on.
You can see Jose Sr. and Jr. trying to gather themselves after a very fine-looking 7th round from Bud Crawford, Tim.
Here it is. Crawford right here, making a miss, making a pace short. Left hand right there.
This is what we've seen all night long, the facial expressions.
Yeah, you know the facial expression just means that, hey, you're getting to me. That's all that means. You're getting to me.
If you look at the facial expressions, no one's landed a good punch.
Let me tell you something. Bud has landed a few good ones, especially the right hand to the body and that left hand moments ago. Round 8. Is this the start of where Crawford takes control?
I'll tell you what I do see from the facial expressions between rounds. I don't see the same brio, the same confidence, the same type of willingness to attack from Benavidez that I did earlier in the fight.
Covering up like that doesn't work out so well when you're in with a pound-for-pound great.
You become an instant punching bag. But you see the fundamentals of Terence Crawford.
CompuBox numbers, you see them now. And you see the advantage that Crawford is starting to put together. Total punches outlanding him 93 to 63. And that gap looks like it's going to continue here.
This is the complete takeover round for Terence Crawford. Landing his best stuff to the head and body of Benavidez.
It's also something we've seen for a while now. It's not just the facial expressions, but Benavidez's feet are flat.
Flat, no jab, no snap on his punches.
It's a great observation on the feet, Mark.
Fatigue.
Noticeable how it's changed. You know who else notices it? The guy opposite him.
can still punch, though.
Oh, you better believe it. You always have a chance in this game. Benavidez comes in tonight with 18 knockouts among his 27 wins. Trying to put that right hand to the body against Crawford. Remember, he had success earlier tonight with that right hand to the body.
That's the bolo shot. Benavidez is trying to land.
Goes low, and then it sweeps across. Crawford, three-punch exchange, including a left hand that splits the guard of Benavidez.
And of course, Benavidez shakes his head.
Once again, Benavidez put those earmuffs on.
You know, Benavidez obviously had a lot to prove tonight. But Crawford, this is his second fight at 147. He's still proven, if not to himself, then the rest of the division, you give me a big guy, I can handle it.
Benavidez really just stalking right in front of Crawford. Now he tries to put a combination together, and Crawford did the smart thing by stepping in, bodying up, and tying up Benavidez.
Angelo trying to pop that jab off the hip. Crawford comes in, left hand, right to the body. Good exchange to close out the eighth. What answer does Jose Benavidez Jr. have now against Bud Crawford? In front of 13,323 local fans here in Omaha. Started boxing at age 7. For many years, he ran with the wrong crowd. Turned his life around, dedicated himself to simply be the best, and that's exactly what he is, the welterweight champion of the world.
Benavidez right now trying to time Terence Crawford coming in with the right hand. You see him sitting on that back foot right now, trying to draw him in.
I think he's pretty much made a concession that the way to win this fight, in answer to Joe's question, is that right hand coming in.
Every single time Benavidez put those earmuffs on, Terence Crawford takes advantage of that. He worked those hands. Not a lot of shots landing, but he lands when he goes down to the body. He comes around the elbows of Benavidez.
Andre Ward went with an even 6 rounds, but still Crawford up 78-74. Many ringside have it 5 rounds to 3. Crawford.
Look at the beautiful work by Crawford, changing levels, going downstairs to be able to land some combinations up top like that. Right hook right there, and spinning around on the angle and not get hit. Benavidez right now is a little frustrated, I think. He's trying to catch up. Terence Crawford is not cooperating.
He can't match his legs. He can't match the feet.
Look at the feet. How he just got out of range right there. Angles out right there. Terence Crawford.
He made a point before, that jab looks good when he throws it, but he's taking rounds off from that jab.
Honestly, it's the knee. I believe it's the knee. Nice shot right there from Benavidez, catching Crawford as he pulls straight back.
A knee that just over 2 years ago was nearly destroyed by a bullet. There were doctors who gave him very little chance to ever return to the ring.
Well, it makes him one-dimensional. It makes him immobile. You know, he really can't move back. He pulls straight back. You're not going to win rounds like this, Benavidez.
In the ring against the best in the world, and now searching for an answer. He talked so much, hoping to draw Crawford into a brawl. Round number 10.
Watch your feet, guys. You know, I spent 2 months investigating that shooting. Nobody gets shot right above the knee walking his dog. Actually, it was a cat, too. It was an exotic $10,000 cat at midnight in Phoenix. Someone targeted him, and he knows it. Just doesn't know who.
Right now, he's got to worry about being targeted by Bud Crawford, who's stepping right to him as he covers up against the ropes, and Crawford's going to have some options. Places a right hand to the body. Probing now with a body shot again. Says, come at me. Got to be willing to fire back, though.
You got macho stuff on the ropes, ain't going to help him in this fight.
Right now, he's looking to time Terence Crawford with a right hand. You see him throw the right hand. He tried as Terence Crawford went back. But Crawford recognizing that and blocked it.
Terence didn't give him the opportunity.
Smart fighter.
World-class fighter. Master craftsman. Another check in what the corners are saying. Here's Bernardo.
All right, in the corner of Terence Crawford, it wasn't Bomac with the instructions. Miss Deborah looked at Bud Crawford, said, Bud, can you hear me? He looked over, he said, last round, finish this.
So Mom is getting involved.
Mom's always involved.
Isn't that the truth?
Step back, watch your head, guys. Box.
Well, you see the inconsistency of Benavidez's attack. He's standing right in front of Terence Crawford right now, not really using his jab. I want to see Terence Crawford turn it up a little bit more on Benavidez. He's there to be hit. Nice stinging body shot right there from Crawford.
Put that left hand right to the body. He wants to try to draw him in again. Wasn't successful earlier in doing so. Let's see what Benavidez comes up with here as Crawford looks to unload. Pushes him back. A right hand came with it from Benavidez.
This is exactly what Crawford needs to do. He needs to stay close, work the body, block and counter.
Benavidez with an offensive output. Crawford comes right back. Short left hook from Benavidez. Benavidez a little more willing here in round number 10. And Crawford always that way. That left hand by Terence Crawford in the last round, champ.
You see Benavidez pulling back. Cardinal rule, don't pull straight back. And Terence Crawford recognizing that and throws a sweeping left hand to land on Benavidez.
6 minutes for Crawford to hold on to that lofty perch he sits on. World champion, pound for pound elite. In 6 minutes for Benavidez to try to find the answer. Look at the power punches now. Crawford comes into this round having landed 100 of 238 thrown. And that percentage now moves north to 42%.
We've talked before about Crawford basically torturing guys who've antagonized him, who've made it personal. He's not keeping Benavidez around because he wants to hurt him. It's Benavidez' chin that's keeping him up.
Chin in the heart. Chin in the heart of Benavidez.
Cut that out, guys.
Looking to place that right hand again is Benavidez. He is taking steps forward at least here in these championship rounds.
And that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to walk down Terence and he needs to let his combinations fly. You can't throw one punch at a time against Terence Crawford. He's too smart for that.
Notice that the two greatest fighters in the world, Terence Crawford and Vasily Lomachenko, beat bigger guys with their feet.
Feet that are underneath great skill, that get them in and out. They dart.
They dodge. They create offense, and they provide elite defense. As now Benavidez looks to wrap up for a moment as Crawford came in.
Step back, step back, step back, step back.
Ruiz will separate them here. Maybe looking at a go-for-broke 12th round from the undefeated challenger as Crawford brings it a little bit. Crowd on their feet here in Omaha. They love the finish that they want to see.
Crawford doing a good job and recognizing that Benavidez is trying to counterpunch every time he does. So what he doing? He's sweeping with the check, right hook, and turning Benavidez in spots, which is smart by Terence Crawford. There it is again.
Sent off balance.
Check hook.
They touch him up for the 12th and final round. Remember yesterday at the weigh-in, what almost touched the chin of Benavidez was the bare knuckles of Crawford. And now he's been tagged plenty. He said it's his time to come here and take care of business and prove everybody wrong. Well, time is of the essence. He trails well behind on the scorecards. Crawford is easily in control, and he's got 2.5 minutes to try to make that dream come true to Benavidez. Crawford gets himself out of that blue corner. How much does Benavidez want it?
Well, if he wants to be the champion he always saw himself as, the champion he was told he would become, he's got to sell out right now.
Got to risk everything, right, Tim?
Got to go for it. And he is. He's trying. He's trying to stalk Terence and put combinations together to the head and body.
But where is that body shot we saw in the 4th round? Never came back with that.
Yeah.
That was the right hand that he landed then. Been absent since.
Crawford's always going to be smart and always concentrated. Every single round. And he's showing that he's more fundamentally sound than Benavidez.
Miles ahead.
I don't think Benavidez has done himself a disservice.
And not at all. Not at all. First half of this fight, highly competitive.
Crawford got him backed up now.
Final minute. Crawford in front of the home fans.
Sitting on the ropes and shaking his head is not how he wants to end this fight, however.
Oh! Crawford gets him! My, oh my! What a shot! Half a minute to finish him awaits. Let's see how he goes about it. Best in the world. At home. Is he the finisher they all expect him to be? He is. What a huge right hand, and he has done it. How do you want a champion to act? How do you want them to close a show? What should it look like to deliver on everything you say? That 12th round is what it should look like. Shakur Stevenson, who had a show of his own earlier tonight and told this crowd what Bud would do. Bud delivered. Jose Benavidez Jr. came in with all the talk and was game. He was 27-0. To steal a line from Raging Bull, ain't pretty no more.
There's Miss Deborah, the son who she forged in the neighborhood of Larimore Street in North Omaha. The incredible story of a complicated, hardened relationship with his mother. You heard what she said before this main event. She would pay $10 to any kid in the neighborhood who could take her son. Not many took it. And now that guy has an 8-figure contract to be king. The pound-for-pound best with the Hall of Fame promoter, Bob Arum.
I believe Terence lands an uppercut, a right uppercut, a punch he never threw through the whole fight. Short uppercut. Then he follows up and finishes him with a right hook. Benavidez was hurt, still hurt from that first knockdown. And Terence Crawford with a big grin right there saying, yes, I told you so.
The right uppercut was unbelievable. The right hook was the ultimate finish. And here's everything they've wanted to hear all night long with Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Celestino Ruiz steps in and stops this bout with an official time of 2 minutes, 42 seconds of the 12th and final round. Declaring the winner by way of technical knockout, still the undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, repping Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
34-0, 25 knockouts, and this one was simply scintillating. And that family is going to have a great night of celebration ahead. Another look before we hear from Bud the Man. A right uppercut for the ages, and then a finishing touch to rise above them all. We're going to hear from Bud Crawford when we return to Omaha.
Gave you guys your instruction in the dressing room. I expect a clean, fair fight, start to finish, and protect yourself at all times. Touch up, good luck.
Those eyes of Crawford lock in now. The eyes of a skilled hunter. We've seen it time and again. And for years, we've watched Terence focus in and finish off opponents. He cares about this challenge and the legacy. Can Porter pull it off? Or will this be Crawford's statement night? We find out right now. We are underway for the welterweight championship, and Porter comes right out. Stepped right to Terence Crawford and threw a combination.
As we thought he would.
Andre Ward and Tim Bradley with me. Joe Tessitore ringside here in Vegas. Andre, there's a distinct work rate pattern to Terence Crawford in welterweight title defenses. He's economical early. He averages 28 punches thrown in the first round of those fights. That's a low number. It's half the usual welterweight output. Do you believe that makes for a grand opportunity for Sean Porter if he's too economical?
It can, but that's who Terence Crawford is. He's not going to change tonight unless he's forced to change by Sean Porter. Terence likes 2 or 3 rounds to get his game plan, gauge distance and range, and understand what he wants to do. It's to Sean Porter's advantage to press the issue and not allow Crawford to do that.
I like what Porter's doing now. He's marching forward, but he's changing his rhythm, changing slots, moving his head, coming behind the double jab. And when he gets close, he's letting his hands go.
No punch, no punch, no punch. I got it. Turn around, turn around. Box.
And if Porter can steal some early rounds, it creates a sense of urgency in Crawford, which may draw him into a fight instead of a boxing match.
Wait, fight out there, fight out there. Stop, break, step back.
This is what's called controlled aggression by Sean Porter. Not reckless, controlled. Coming behind the jab, staying disciplined, keeping his balance, not lunging forward, inching closer and closer to Crawford.
Crawford kept his composure this whole round. Didn't seem rattled at all. Didn't seem wide-eyed. He's fought in front of big crowds before. He knew Shawn Porter would come forward. It was no surprise to Terence Crawford.
Crawford right now, he's calculating the speed, the distance for Shawn Porter. He felt the power already. But that nervous energy right there, look at how Porter smart. Step back. Didn't want to crowd Terence Crawford.
Floyd Mayweather's dad, Floyd Sr., always a fixture in the Vegas fight scenes. Round number 2. In that first round, Shawn Porter landed 6 of 29. Crawford landed 3 of 15.
I think that's exactly where Porter wants to be. Not the whole fight, but certainly in spots to hit the body of Terence Crawford to try to slow him down and to cause him to get uncomfortable early in this fight where he starts to press.
But you can see the patience also from Porter. He's just not rushing in there. He's thinking before he makes any move.
Well, he has to with a guy that can hit and has timing and quickness like Terence Crawford. Things can get ugly quick.
Tried to catch him with that check hook from that southpaw stance, did Crawford, as Porter came forward that time.
Porter's fought a lot of different styles, but he's never fought a lot of different styles in one man. And that's who he's facing tonight. He's facing a southpaw, a guy who fights left-handed, an orthodox fighter, a guy who can box and a guy who can fight, and a guy who can hit. Good shot right there from Shawn Porter.
Shawn Porter responds with the right hand after Crawford threw the right hook.
Those are the surprising combinations that Porter is great at doing. Doesn't matter what position he's in, you got to be cautious and be ready every time he comes in.
Don't punch, step back. Box.
Right hook by Crawford right there got Porter's attention.
Sitting right on top of the orthodox fighter. Porter just able to get away from the uppercut. Good exchange on the inside. Good action here in round 2. Crawford lands a right hand. Porter so willing.
Porter got the best of that.
Sure did.
Here come Bud.
Crawford trying to time that backhand for a moment.
I think boxing is slowly going out of the mind of Terence Crawford. He doesn't like getting hit flush. He doesn't like the reaction of the crowd, even though this is the pro-Crawford crowd. He wants to get some get back. You see that in his eyes and in his demeanor right now.
To the body to finish off an entertaining second round. Brian McIntyre, the trainer of Terence Crawford, said don't get into a firefight with Shawn Porter. Meanwhile, Kenny Porter, the trainer father of Shawn Porter, was giving his son advice in terms of how to react when Crawford does touch him. So both trainers want guys composed, collected, and sticking to the plan. That second round was something. Porter was 12 of 34. Crawford was 11 of 36.
Bomac is going to have to remind Terence Crawford often to not get into a firefight, but to box. Not sure if Crawford's going to listen.
You wonder what's slowing down Shawn Porter. It's the southpaw stance of Crawford. When he was in orthodox stance, Porter was able to land his jab and get inside. Now from the southpaw stance, he has to battle the lead hand of Terence. Porter starting to lunge a tad bit when he comes behind his jab.
That's what Porter does when he gets over anxious and he starts to reach for a taller man, and that could be very dangerous against this guy, Terence Crawford.
Bud attempted right there the uppercut as Porter lunged forward. Terence is starting to find his rhythm. As soon as he starts landing his jab, he starts getting comfortable. Here comes a turn from Porter. As soon as Terence attacks, Porter's going to try to turn Terence into that corner. That's why he's sitting there. There it is.
Good eye, Tim.
Ooh. Bud is coming.
To the body with the right hand goes Porter. Bud saying, you want some of that? You want that kind of exchange?
Yeah, he likes it.
It's over now. Bud is here. A fight about to break out now. There's a cut on the eye of Porter.
It looked like there may have been a clash of heads on that last exchange when both men came in. Remember, southpaw and orthodox, you can often get that angle where the head comes into play. So there is blood now around the right eye of Shawn Porter. That is not a knockdown.
Doesn't look like much, but Porter had to pick himself off the canvas. That takes some of the energy.
Now they're wrestling against the ropes.
Southpaw versus orthodox.
There it is.
There it is. Terence coming inside. Beautiful uppercut in the inside by Shawn Porter.
Hey guys, watch your feet, all right?
And then here's the moment where they tie up and Porter went falling down. And then the end of the round. Yeah, sure, they've been friends since the amateur circuit.
It's a fight.
It's a fight.
But Porter right here, seeing how strong Terence is, he's showing them.
Former high school football star against a wrestling fanatic, a father of two wrestlers who are collecting trophies, Tyrese and Little T. Round number 4. Punches through 3, 25-20 Porter.
Ooh. Beautiful, surprising hook right there from Porter.
Coming into this fight, Porter's been cut 11 times. The majority of those cuts have come on the right eye, so there's a lot of scar tissue there. Not surprised that his eye is opened up this early.
It's very noticeable when you're with him. Looks like railroad tracks when you talk to him around that right eye, and now there's blood coming from it.
This is the urgency that I was talking about that Shawn Porter
Good left hand from Crawford.
Good shot right there to the body. But you see Crawford is not thinking about boxing. He's thinking about fighting.
And then very accurate with the right hand as well. Puts him off balance again, right to the chest.
You see Porter being patient more than usually in fights because he feels those punches coming from Crawford and those sharp counters.
It's good to be relentless. It's good to have aggression, but it can't be too much of a risk-reward fatal flaw.
His attacks has to be explosive.
Yes.
They got to be sharp, accurate. After Terence misses or throws something like that.
As he bounces and then comes forward with the right hand.
What Crawford is having issues with right now is the sneak attacks from Shawn Porter. They're so explosive and so fast that Crawford doesn't have time to compute what's happening, and before he knows it, he's been hit.
Dynamic fight early on, fascinating fight early on. The athleticism of Shawn Porter, the skill and accuracy of Terence Crawford.
I don't think pulling back is the answer for Crawford. I think he's got to have a tight guard and allow Porter to open up. And when he opens up, you get your shots off just like that. Pulling back from a shorter arm guy that's as explosive as Shawn Porter is not a good idea.
There's another left hand trying to dig underneath as Porter came forward. Crawford's been trying to test that body a bit.
Crawford's doing the right thing by going down to the body, trying to slow down Porter. Hoping that
lunging with the right hand, he gets out of the way, and all of a sudden Porter goes face first into the neutral corner.
Ole, Tess, ole. Here comes the turn, the pivot.
Short left hand from Crawford as Porter comes out of that position, and we finish up round 4. Man, oh man, is this intense early on.
Cuff right there from Terence Crawford, just turning Porter. The Cubans are known for doing that. That's a Cuban move right there. Turning, cupping the head there, pushing the guy in the corner. But why did he do it? Porter was lunging forward, trying to catch and trying to corner Terence.
Al Chernoff is the cut man for Shawn Porter. He is tasked with handling that right eye that opened up due to an accidental clash in round number 3.
Double right hand right there from Porter, sneaks in.
And here Kenny, his father, saying, Shawn, go left, go left. Right now he's circling right, and that is right into the range and the track of the backhand, the power hand of Terence Crawford. Let's look at Andre Ward's card through 4 rounds, 39-37 Porter.
Tess, I could have easily given Crawford one of those first three rounds. Good shot right there from Porter, but Porter would always do just enough to kind of eke out the round, and Crawford would give up that 1 or 2 blows that would seal the round for Shawn Porter in my book.
I would circle the second round as potentially the round that could swing the other way. But it's understandable that you have tight rounds beyond the first.
Let me just tell you this, if Crawford thinks Porter's gonna slow down, he's not. He's not gonna slow down. He's gonna be this intense and bring this type of intensity all night long.
Well, Porter's not even as intense as he normally is. He's being very thoughtful and methodical. He'll have tense moments, but he's not wrestling inside and digging to the body like we've seen him in the past. So you're right. I don't think Porter, at this pace especially, is going to fade.
I just spoke with Bomac, who trains Terence Crawford, and he told me, I want Terence to box more because that will open up the shots that he needs to land on Shawn Porter.
There's Porter coming in with that relentless aggression that he's known for. Terence covering up as Porter tries to get around that guard. Terence smiles at him and pushes him away.
Doesn't matter that it doesn't hurt. Shawn Porter's piling up points.
That's exactly right, Dre.
Porter right now is fighting a perfect fight. Being athletic, using his hand speed, using volume, roughing up Terence on the inside right now.
Watch your head, guys. Both of you guys.
Changing rhythms.
Wait, step back. Let go, let go, let go, let go.
Now at range, trying to place that left hand right to the body. He does a few times. And then goes on the attack to close out the round, does Terence Bud Crawford. Dre, Bomac said the same thing that you expressed with your analysis. of, hey, you're letting him come up and just touch you at times. It may not matter to you. You're not being affected, but it matters to the judges. That's exactly what his trainer told him.
Not only the judges, but it's allowing Porter to get into a rhythm, to gain confidence. And it's forcing Bud to press because he knows he's behind, at least on my scorecard.
Look at this from Bud
possibly the
Crawford.
official scorecard.
Early on in round 6, as you see the head movement from Porter, but not able to dodge all of it.
Here comes
Porter now comes in. Back and forth they go.
I don't know if I saw some blood coming from the right ear or left ear of Terence Crawford. I don't know if it's Porter's blood or not, but that's not a good sign.
Little forearm to the neck and a pat on the back from Shawn Porter.
Ooh, good body shot right there, Sneak.
He has been able to get that left hand to the body a few times here in the first half of this fight. He's landed 11 body shots, has Bud Crawford.
But if you're Terence Crawford, this is what you wanted. You've been arguably the best fighter in the world, give or take 1 through 3 over the last few years. But individuals, critics, fans, they got questions. And Shawn Porter's asking those questions of Terence Crawford tonight. It's a great opportunity for him to answer.
Porter just crossed that threshold, and Crawford was quick to throw the left hand. Trying to cut off the ring there.
Yeah, to your point, Tess, some of these rounds are close, but even the body language of Shawn Porter can suggest that he's in control.
And now this clash ahead here in the 6 opens up a cut on the right eye, inside, right on the brow of Terence Crawford. So each man has been cut from an accidental clash. Touch, touch, then power from Crawford. Wide swinging right hand from Porter off the mark. Attempt at the uppercuts from Crawford. Infighting from Porter. High intensity stuff here in Vegas.
Shawn doing the right thing. He got one hand free. He's swinging with the opposite hand.
Bud is landing, but Porter's taking the play almost every time.
Back of the trunks, Reed War. On a night he honors marvelous Marvin Hagler. And at the halfway point, it has indeed been a war. 53 punches landed for Crawford, 54 by Porter. Here's the clash of heads.
Crawford right there comes in. Porter actually wraps his arm around Crawford, brings him in, and causes a headbutt.
That was accidental headbutt.
Crawford getting the worst end of that.
You heard Kenny Porter saying, pick your spots, but then back on defense. They really stressed fundamentals in this training camp to go up against Crawford. Of getting your hands back, of being in proper position defensively. Round 7.
It's the patience, the athleticism, and sharpness of Porter that's giving problems to Bud.
In that last round, Crawford had a 16-10 connect advantage. Landed 13 power punches. Always willing, right? Hands free, gonna fight. Heard the warning from Celestino Ruiz about leading with the head.
Right now, Shawn Porter has fought the perfect fight. A good mix of fighting, probably less than we thought he was going to do, but good boxing, answering at the right time. His defense has been good. We know that one punch can change it for either guy, but so far, so good for Shawn Porter.
And a critical word there, the descriptive of mixing it up. There's a right hand from Porter.
He hurt.
He closed the gap and landed a right hand, but that is what Porter said the other day. He said he'll never see anybody as athletic, as sharp, but somebody who mixes it up. You have to mix it up against Terence Crawford.
And this is war for Shawn Porter. It's the art of war. Sneak attacks. It's fighting. It's boxing. It's going away when you want me to come forward. It's a little bit of everything that we're seeing right now from Shawn Porter. Crawford has more glaring answers or more glaring questions to answer now than he did before the fight started.
Don't punch, step back. Box.
See, the difference is that when Crawford, when he lands these shots on anybody else, they fall. But the difference is Shawn Porter hasn't failed. He's not going anywhere.
And for what it's worth, fellas, it looked like Crawford, based on their face, their body language, their energy or lack of energy, looked like he struggled more with the weight than Shawn Porter. If so, you're going to see that show up in the latter half of this fight.
Coming to the end of round number 7. Porter landed that right hand in the 7th round.
Ooh.
And as we come to the bell, an opportunity to check in with Mark Kriegel and Max Kellerman. Total punches fairly even. Crawford with a slight edge now, 64-60. Good combination. He catches him coming in. 2-punch combination by Crawford. And so good countering both off the back foot, off the front foot. And now sharpshooting to the head is Crawford. Good start to round number 8 for the champ.
Crawford landing some of those, but not all of those. Good defense from Shawn Porter, but good punches and good exchange from Terence Crawford.
67-66 says Dre. Max Kellerman said he would have flipped the 2nd round to Crawford, but it's that kind of fight.
Good people don't understand what a swing round is, meaning it literally could go either way.
And it happens often at this level, Dre, right? At this elite level.
Those little shots right there from Shawn Porter are bothersome, and if they hit you right, they can hurt.
Yeah, but again,
Don't punch, no, right, box.
Here, Terence actually talking to Shawn about the headbutt right there. It's that pop jab right off the hip from Porter.
Ooh.
Just missing with the left hand as Porter came in.
Stop, don't punch, I got this.
Terence has to watch that body language, because inside he'll turn, he'll do certain things that looks like Shawn Porter is in control and he's bullying.
Lead right hand from Porter. And another one.
Good shot.
Don't punch, I got this.
various right hands. Porter's doing exactly what his father told him. Ooh, that body shot right there.
Wow.
Oh,
what
my
a
goodness.
thud from Crawford.
Yeah, that was a body shot, but that was an overhand right from Shawn Porter that definitely got Terence Crawford's attention.
Each man having success. Porter with a couple of right hands. Crawford comes back with the left to the body, as he has done a few times. Goes with it again.
I'd rather get hit with a headshot than a body shot like that.
Especially those that sound like that have that shotgun effect. That was a great 8, wasn't it? Was saying box him, box him, box him. And now the call to order changes of raise your level of intensity. Here we go, round 9.
That's been missing from Crawford, the jab. He hasn't been on his jab.
He's only landed 21% to this point.
Porter's looking for the overhand right. He's looking to slip in behind the jab.
He found it in the last round. There's a double jab from Crawford.
What Kenny Porter is asking his son Sean Porter for is separation.
Check hook again from the southpaw.
The fight is close, it's tight. Where's the separation? Raise your game. That's what he's asking for.
Olay.
Crawford able to roll out to the left. Body shot from Porter. Crawford comes back jabbing.
Nice little sneaky body shot from Crawford in the inside right there on the right side of Porter.
He's landed 23 body punches to this point with a minute to go in round 9.
Looks like Porter wants to take a round off and Crawford needs to take advantage.
Left hand to the body again and again. Lead left hand from Crawford as Porter keeps taking those steps forward.
Ooh. Okay, guys, break. Give me a clean break. See Porter holding on, trying to get himself together. When you get hit with a shot like that, you got to reassess some things.
Both guys landing some counters right there, exchanging.
Going underneath with the left hand to the body.
Porter resulting back to his old ways, lunging forward, coming behind the jab, lunging forward, put his head down, boom. Crawford meets him with a nice short uppercut on the inside.
He's not jumping in as much as he's not jumping in like come on, bro, hold this to it. He's not jumping in like he was Yeah, that's come on. Hey, we gotta go.
Crawford had a 14-10 connect advantage in that last round. Had 9 power punches. Overall, 92-79 connect advantage for Terence Crawford. Body work in that last round and the short uppercut that we showed. There are the body punches. 28, and there is the knockdown scored in round 10 by the champ. Terence Crawford catches Porter early in round 10. And now patiently probing. Seeing what could be behind that jab. There's a combination. There's a lead left hand. Porter looks good on his feet, but not coming forward and firing at Crawford for the moment. There's the overhand right, and another combination. Beautiful work by Crawford. accuracy by the champ. He does damage. Kenny's on the apron, and he's stopping the fight. His father says it's over. Terence Crawford has just stopped Shawn Porter. No man has done that. Crawford just did it. Opposing trainer slash father embracing the undefeated world champion and the rival trainer. Years ago, Kenny Porter had a heated exchange with Bud Crawford. They almost threw at each other. But it's nothing but respect now as grown men, as champions. Barry Hunter, who works the corner of Shawn Porter, embracing Terence Crawford. When he flips the switch, there are few like him. Congratulations, champ. As he's making the rounds ringside. And now embracing Shakur Stevenson, who he mentors, already a 2-division undefeated champion, a U.S. Olympian. What a great spirited effort by Showtime Shawn Porter.
It's all about timing. Told you Shawn Porter makes too many mistakes lunging forward like that. Boom, hit with an uppercut. Terence stepped right to the side, created an angle for himself, avoided those punches. Step back, double step back. There you go.
And then the end of the fight. So the left uppercut is the first knockdown, and watch this combination, Dre.
Well, you see Crawford doing what he does best, finish. He got that right hook in there, not a shot he really landed thus far up until this point. It's a heavy, heavy shot for any fighter to take, especially this late in the fight. Here we see a half step back. Boom, that's his signature shot that Terence lands. He missed that, but he came back with the right hook, and it landed flush. Down goes Shawn Porter, and I think Kenny Porter stopped the fight, not necessarily because of what happened, but what was to come. Terence Crawford is the best finisher in the game, and he knew that it wasn't going to get any better for Shawn Porter, especially if Shawn wasn't himself and was dazed in the head and tried to keep off a guy like Terence Crawford.
Hey, do you want to continue? Yes. Step back a little. Give me a glove. Give me a glove. Give me a glove.
Kenny was already up on the apron by the time his son turned around. And Dre, I think you are exactly correct. As look at the celebration with Miss Deborah and his family. He has his mom, Deborah. He has the mother of his children, Isha, Shantae, and Letitia, his sisters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 21 seconds in round number 10. A referee in charge, Celestino Ruiz, stops the contest upon request of the corner. He is the winner by way of technical knockout and still the undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.